There we go. Fantastic. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smudcast number 820, Exposing the Grift, the Critical Drinker. I could have sworn we covered this guy a month ago, at least, for the Birdman video. And apparently this is a second try, or he's just got more content to work with. I don't know what's going on, but apparently...
It's not Deja Vu, it's Electric Boogaloo.
I don't know. We hit this guy before, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
It was horrible.
Yeah. It was,
And I don't know what horrible anymore, because they're all horrible.
yeah.
You will not be surprised, you could say.
Oh.
Yeah,
Are we
think that's a correct
after all these years?
I don't know. This guy pumps out a lot of videos, and they're on the same topic, so I don't know what his beef is with these people. And all I want is just to sit down with these people for 10 minutes. Like, what is a grift? What are you talking about? Who is hurting?
It's the magic word. It doesn't need a definition. It's just the current fashion word.
Like, the drinker could say whatever he likes, and you could laugh at it or not. And if you share his opinion, good for you. I don't think he's stealing money from anyone. I don't think he's, well, aside from your time, but that's everyone on YouTube. I don't think he's selling anything aside from his books that he never puts into, like, at the end of his video. I don't think he does that. He might have done it once.
I think since the God of War Ragnarok debacle, his immediate praise for Fallout and the Last of Us show, his blind shilling for the Shogun remake, which is a complete woke disaster. I think there is some type of grift going on, but if there is, it is not the grift that the Birdman is accusing cynical drinker. Drinker. The critical drinker.
Right.
I get it mixed up with the cynical Brit.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get going. This is a over 20-minute long video. I'm probably going to skip ahead if I get really nauseous. So, everyone ready? I think so. Okay, 25 minutes. Oh, jeez. Okay. It's going to take some time. Okay. Not a good look.
Oh, no, it didn't start on my end.
Oh, there's no sound yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, this is not good.
The illusory truth effect is a phenomenon that was first detailed in a 1977 study. It's the inclination of people to believe false information after being exposed to that false information many times.
Whose quote was that?
Repeated exposure.
Really?
That was Joseph Goebbels, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was Joe. Okay.
So it's one thing to, quote a Nazi and then swear. Like, just put Joseph Goebbels. Let my brain make the connection between the drinker and Goebbels if I ever so choose to go there. But to get angry at calling someone a Nazi, an actual Nazi, just quote the guy. He's dead. It's not a big deal.
He's the founder of all modern politics. The whole baby kissing game that the American politicians all do. He invented that.
Yeah, I mean, imagine we talk about Movie Bob and we equate him to a Nazi. We don't have to do that because the stuff he says is pretty bad. And we don't know if he's saying it or it was a quote from Goebbels. We're not too sure, actually. It happens to be his ideas of invading Poland with Germany in current year is pretty bad. So Movie Bob we can equate with the Nazis just because of his rhetoric and his actual desire to like poison everyone with COVID in the United States or whatever the hell his ideas are. So that's a different story. But to equate a media critic like the drinker who's just trying to make you laugh.
Yeah. Especially since the entire left, every socialist regime, every red, green or rainbow regime we've had so far has done this, is guilty of this quote, because they keep on lying and they just won't stop.
All right. So he's going to go into the whole phenomenon of people believing something when there's no proof and blah, blah, blah. Here we go.
Cause the false information to feel familiar to the participants. In that study, they found out that the more familiar the information feels, the more likely that familiarity overpowers a person's rationality.
Yeah, it's because if everyone's saying the same thing, like Steve's a dick, da-da-da-da, and you never met Steve, you don't know what Steve did, everyone says it, you're like, oh, I guess Steve's a dick. I don't care. It's just everyone's saying
if you get 3 to 5 people to believe the lie and they will perpetuate it, or they just in cahoots with you, then your social circle will think that is the truth. And then everybody thinks that Sally ate a moldy bread. And that is how narcissistic gaslighting campaigns to cancel people work. Then innocent people who don't mean you ill will believe the horrible stuff about you that is completely false. That's the left doing.
All right.
The more you hear something. Further studies showed that the illusory truth effect could even make people have false memories, and that people with names that were easier to pronounce were more readily believed by participants of the study. This is a powerful psychological tool that grifters employ on their audience, and its effects are seen every single day. How many times have you heard vaccines cause autism, or go woke, go broke? There is
whoa. Slow down there, buddy.
Ooh.
So, yes.
So it sounds very early.
Yeah, we went from vaccines cause autism to go woke, go broke. Now, the first one, I have no idea. I don't think it's a truth, so I don't know who started that. But the second one...
The thing with vaccines is that what there seems to be is a correlation of odd symptom complexes in relation to a bolus, which is a misapplied injection, which causes trouble to the body. And maybe there's the connection. So it's not actually the vaccines themselves, but misapplication of injections.
Right. Okay. With the second one, there's plenty of examples of actual companies going bankrupt and big companies losing a lot of money in the interim. So
we have an example of Ubisoft, who is about to go bankrupt. Right,
and they're going to get bought out. Apparently, I just read the news this afternoon. So
by Tencent.
Yeah, there's a list of gaming companies, TV companies, and Netflix is even accused of this. Disney's the big one, of course, but I can remember the Nike stuff.
Wizards of the Coast faring.
I don't know, but there's so many big companies. Like the biggest one I think was Bud Light, Nike, American Airlines with that I think it was that doctor got beaten up with that video a long time ago. Ben and Jerry's. I think Starbucks.
Really, Ben and Jerry's?
Yeah, they stopped selling ice cream to like Israel-backed countries or Israel countries that are occupied by Israel. So it was considered anti-Semitic. Yeah, but we're talking billions of dollars lost, and in the case of Nike, it was like 3% a day, and then that was in like when was that? I think that was back in 2023 with Colin Kaepernick, and then also Dylan Mulvaney. They also hired Dylan Mulvaney, by the way, and that went down by like 20 or 30% the next month. So yeah, there's lots of forces at work when you're talking about the stock market, but that's the impetus for people to start pulling out. And then once the stock goes down, people are like, oh, it's a cheap stock. I'll buy it again. And it goes back up. So yes, they did lose a lot of money as a result of their marketing campaign for a certain scenario. They didn't lose everything. These are like $1 billion companies. They're not going to like, in the case of Bud Light, they lost like 26% within the course of a week or two. Like that was pretty crazy. So yeah, the like people aren't buying Bud Light as much as more, if at all, and they're going to Modelo or they're going to other lighter beers in America. So it changes things. And this has nothing to do
the whole collapse of Disney under this whole nonsense.
Yeah, like we can go to Disney a lot because there's so many examples of what that is and why that is occurring. But it does not matter if you're talking about, like, I don't know, gun control pro or against or LGBT pro or against. All you're doing is alienating your audience by putting something where it doesn't belong, when all I want is an ice cold light beer. I don't want to be preached. I don't want to see some weirdo drinking the stuff. I don't want to see things that don't belong. That's all it comes down to. It doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter what you agree with. It's do not alienate your demographic and putting something where it doesn't belong. So.
And Shang-Chi did flop. It was also horribly written.
Oh yeah, we can get into all
the first half of the movie. There was dialogue and characters appearing and disappearing, and action scenes that they nothing connected.
I mean, we can get into like Telltale Games.
It was like
Mass Effect Andromeda. There's all kinds of good examples of what they did and why it went bad.
Yeah.
So
I will say on Shang-Chi, the first half, all this jumbled mess that didn't connect, that when nothing made any sense. It did feel like an authentic Chinese movie.
All right.
And the only people who get that joke are those who know Chinese movies.
Yeah. So trying to equate these two things, a mental condition with the go broke statement. I don't know.
I was gonna say we can sum it up as it accidentally made Iron Man 3 a little better.
What they're trying to tell us is that socialism totally works. It never. That wasn't real socialism. It's not flopping. It totally works.
It's all real socialism. It's all real socialism. That's why it all fails.
I know.
Over and over, even in the face of repeating false information, makes it more likely to be believed. Here's a network graph of the phrase
"go just like
woke,
the woke crap."
Go broke on Twitter from August 2022 to February 2023. The blue represents left-leaning users, while the red represents right-leaning users. The irony of the shape formed by right.
What does this blood splatter mean?
I don't know.
How do we interpret this data? Because all I see is a blood splatter, and that is your dead companies.
How is
this? Your infested. All these infested corporations.
Apparently, the way this data, what this data indicates is that right-leaning individuals, as he calls them, usually have a bit of a spread out of opinions and the like. But what you see on the left is that there is everything kind of congesting into one point. That is the leftists. They have only one correct opinion.
Network graph. Yeah, so the left is a bubble.
Yes.
It's an insulated bubble. This is your cult.
Mm-hmm.
And everything else, that's not the right wing. That's normal people. Everyone. Yes. That is the white audience, by the way.
White represents unaffiliated users. Where's the white? Is it everything else? Or the little dots are white? Okay, I don't know. Hard to tell. It's a weird diagram. I don't even call that a graph.
Yeah, it looks more like modern art.
Yeah.
Shape right-wingers isn't lost on me. A literal dickhead. This brings me to the subject of this video. Will Jordan, aka the Critical Drinker. Tell me, how many times have you heard him say,
note that the commie agitprop agents always like to use the real names of the people they attack. Yet he uses a pseudonym.
What's up, everyone?
Whoa.
I'm going to question why people believe this grifter and show you precisely why you shouldn't.
Define the word.
Due to the kinds of people this video is sure to attract, I think I need to put my cards on the table. Firstly, I am not a political type. I rarely, if ever, bring up politics, and when I do, it's usually to make fun.
Look at your past few videos, buddy. That's all you talk about. Grifters.
I mean, even in this video, he went around and saying that, the shape that right-wingers make is a dick.
Yeah.
So it's rather very obvious on what political side he is on, and what he's trying to say here is just complete bollocks.
The only people who try to deny the go woke, go broke thing are communists. Because this is their game. This is their infection of everything. They march through the institutions. Everything, every association of people, whether it's a hobby club, whether it's a company, whether it's a political party, whether it's a mega corporation, is an institution, and they will take it over. That's the goal. And so They have to tell you that it totally works and it's not failing, because they need to tell themselves that it's not failing. And what they won't tell you is that the destruction, the failure of the thing they infest is part of the goal. That's the counterintuitive thing. So yes, woke is working by making things broke. Because either it produces propaganda, or it is a cultural institution that is destroyed and gone. Either way, they win.
For this behavior, I have been routinely called right-wing and left-wing by people who make politics their entire identity. My position is that political folk are mirror images of each other participating in the Spider-Man meme, where they blame each other for doing exactly what they themselves are.
Really?
I want to know who accused this guy of being right-wing.
I want to see the equivalent of whatever he thinks the critical drinker is. It's definitely not Movie Bob. That's so far left.
I think that the only one who would call this guy right-wing would be literal Maoist who thinks that this guy is not left enough.
I'm not even sure what to call the layman. When I think of Critical Drinker and Angry Joe and all these other guys, it's just like they're just guys. I don't see them as political. They call out crap when they see it, and they like stuff they like. That's about it.
Yeah, the problem is that they are against, what is perceived as correct, which makes them immediately right-wing to people who, make the ideology their entire life. And that is a lot of leftists.
All right.
The drinker is heavily guilty of. I think it's silly to adhere to political sides because at some point in time, you're going to have to defend nonsense to maintain the integrity of being on that side. The only side I'm on is reason, logic, facts, science, and math.
Wow.
So believe me.
That's a lot of beliefs you have there. I believe in some of those things, but I can't say I like math. Do I believe in math? Well, I like math. I mean, it's there. I can write up stupid equations and I can believe in it, but it doesn't make it true. Same with logic. If your logic is I should kill Mary tomorrow because it makes perfect sense, that's pretty good logic, but it's pretty bad ethically. I believe in going to post-secondary education and everything they teach me. It's like, uh-oh. No, don't do that.
This very obviously right-wing of the spirit and integrity of unbiased media discourse, which is something I care about deeply. Less important, but still worth the mention, I'm not doing this out of jealousy or an attempt to clout chase. I've been calling out a much bigger YouTuber for nearly 7 years. For me, this is simply calling out another bad critic.
For 7 years. You've had beef with Drinker complaining about the communists subverting everything for 7 years, but you're not left-wing.
I think he means overall and the bigger channels, but yeah.
So
we should. So he's the good guy because he's smaller.
Are these his videos? Like, what is this?
This looks like it. Yeah.
So he watches his own videos on you. Like, this is weird. What's going on?
With 500,000 views, and he's I'm a smaller YouTuber. I only get 500,000 views.
Maybe this is someone else's channel. I don't know. Maybe he's critiquing this critic. I don't know what's going on. Okay, fine, whatever.
That out of the way, it's difficult to know where to even start with this guy. He is absolutely rich with misinformation, outright lies, and baffling takes that don't stand up to even an ounce of scrutiny. In my last video, I played an excerpt from his infamous Across the Spider-Verse video.
Also, I can't shake the feeling that the script is doing everything in its power to play down Peter Parker, like it's afraid the audience will somehow start rooting for him over Miles if he's shown to be too capable and confident. The first movie portrayed him as an aging, burned out loser who only redeems himself at the end, while the second film morphs him into a bumbling, hapless father in a pink bathrobe who for some reason keeps taking his baby along on life-threatening adventures, despite having a perfectly capable mother at home to look after it. Is this some weird attempt to mock and belittle the Spider-Man that most people know and love, who incidentally just happens to be the only straight white man in the entire movie? I don't know, man, it just kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth, that's all.
Yes, that's exactly what it is, and it's been going on for 20 years now. For some godforsaken reason, the entirety of the Marvel company has turned on Peter Parker, aka the guy that put them on the map in the first fucking place.
There's nothing wrong with whatever Drinker just said.
Yeah,
especially since we have precedent for it.
Yeah.
Especially since we have precedent for us going back at least 20 years.
Well, is Miles Morales gay or something like that? Like he said a very general statement about everyone being not straight in the movie except for him, or except for Peter.
Straight and non-white.
Oh,
so
that Peter's the only white guy in the movie.
All right.
Yes.
The first notice, if you've seen that movie, is that he's just blatantly incorrect. Peter B. Parker is not the only straight white male in the film. In fact, there are many of them, quite a few of them variants of Peter Parker himself. More importantly, there is a prominent supporting character that is the motivation for Spider-
And which have speaking roles.
Prominent variants of Peter Parker, meanwhile, shows a clone with Scarlet Spider.
So all iterations of white Peter Parker are heterosexual. As you can see, this Peter Parker is different than that Peter Parker. They're still Peter Parker, but what are we talking about? Oh, dear.
Arc in the film. Captain Stacy is the claim that Peter is being irresponsible by bringing his daughter on, and I quote,
yes, he is.
life-threatening adventures despite having a perfectly capable mother at home. Again,
yes.
If you've watched this movie, you'd know that Peter's presence in the film was entirely to be a familiar face for Miles and to help him accept his canon event, not go on a life-threatening adventure.
You're the reason.
He's still taking the fucking child with him into these dangerous places. That is dangerous adventures. You don't know what an adventure is. Kinga?
And Peter's not even first of all, that doesn't disprove Drinker's point on Peter in this movie. Second of all, he's not the only one doing it in this fucking movie. Goddamn blackwashed Jessica Drew, who still has the baby in the womb.
Yeah, that is even more insane.
That's even worse.
It just shows a complete disregard for the safety of children. It doesn't matter that it's superheroes, they have powers. It's to the point where it's a Pixar movie where nothing ever happens.
It also doesn't matter that Peter is canonically more than capable of dealing with this kind of situation. That doesn't matter. It's the fact that they did it.
Any sane father, superhero or not, would not do this. This is where the Incredibles make more sense.
Well, and also
that is a big
that in The Incredibles, as well as Peter in the comics, whenever there's a story that involves his actual daughter, Mayday Parker, which he was very apprehensive about his daughter taking up the mantle. That even when she took it, he was still worried.
All right.
I had her, okay? I thought that if I did a decent job raising her, that there was a chance she was gonna turn out like you. And that got me excited because you are a wonderful person. And I like being around you.
The problem is that Mayday is at her best when she turns out like her dad. Not like anyone else. That was the big mistake right there with that scene.
Miles has the same problem that I can't remember actors' names. The MCU Spider-Man has. That he needs to be told by the other proper Spider-Man that he's actually capable and totally good and everything.
Yep.
And what this is taking the original as a tool to justify the distorted bullshit version.
I mean, hell, even Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it credit.
Stupid villains, but
yeah, I'll give it credit that Spider-Man didn't give a shit about any others. It was very much its own and stuck with it.
Moreover, May Parker has superpowers, and her dad would likely be the only one in the relationship physically capable of corralling the clearly energetic child.
No.
What's more is he brought her to probably the safest environment she could possibly be, a hub with a million other superheroes. The less obvious observation is that Will is a race baiter. The Spider-Verse films, while featuring a black protagonist, do not contain the themes of race relations. The more astute of you will then ask, well, why even bring that up at all? And therein lies the problem. Will's goal with many of his film reviews is to galvanize his mostly male, mostly white, and mostly straight audience around the idea that they are being attacked for being those three things.
How do you know that?
Which is what the socialists are doing. They have recently started in Germany to play the white guilt thing on top of the German guilt thing. And they do it through a fanatic Islamist woman who is funded by taxes through state television that tells us that we are disgusting pork meat and Neanderthals and all of that. So she's doing actual racist hate speech against Germans, funded by the state, by the socialist state, while all under the guise that the state claims that their racism against white people is not possible. That has now come to Germany. And it is absolutely depraved and deranged, and this guy makes excuses for it through this.
He's referring to the drinker being a race baiter because he referred to Peter Parker as white and heterosexual?
There is another thing coming up that he will try to make into something, but let's just say that he is not in any way good faith.
And he's going to ignore that Miles Morales was solely created as a token black Spider-Man in the belief, in this insane and stupid belief that black people can only like Spider-Man if they see a black Spider-Man.
And Miles
it's narcissistic projection.
Miles is only just shy of a decade, just above a decade old, as opposed to Peter's at this point.
He was invented in the advent of the wokification. He is a tool of that and nothing else.
What was the
and these movies are his first decent content.
Also, Miles was also initially created within the Ultimate Universe, which is unanimously considered hot garbage to begin with.
Wasn't Miles Morales based off? Was it Danny Glover? I can't remember who the two actors were.
I think a little bit, but on the flip side, he was created by Bendis, and Bendis is a dog shit writer when it comes to Spider-Man, except for the early Ultimate run. But that's about it. Brian Michael Bendis.
All right.
This often enough, and the audience will begin to believe it. Hence, that atrocious reading of Across the Spider-Verse. But it gets even better. Here he is doing the same thing to the Batman.
There seems to be a bit of a debate going on about whether or not this movie is woke, mainly because of the demographics of certain characters. And to be fair, there is a bit of evidence to support this claim. If I was a cynical man, I'd say it's kind of interesting that the rich, corrupt scumbags targeted by the Riddler all happen to be straight, white, middle-aged men. But hey, I guess that's just a total coincidence.
Seriously. What the fuck does this movie have to do with race? He
just pointed out an issue in saying, wow, I wonder why all the rich guys and bad guys are white.
Well, the Penguin isn't, but that's another topic. The thing with the Batman movie is much more that Batman is wholly incompetent. He kills himself several times, if we are being serious. And his stupid Batmobile, that is just a garbage vehicle, it's a joke. there's the scene where he starts it in the dark, and it's this slasher villain scare moment, and then the car fails, like comically. This Batman is incompetent. He's incompetently written, and the Catwoman, she is the one who can do everything.
Well, this is the problem with the premise here.
It's a subtle form of the wokeification, but it is that.
Like he's
I was gonna say when even the Schumacher Batman is more competent.
Yeah, but he's making the insinuation that because he's guessing the woke part is the white guys that are bad that the Penguin is targeting is the woke part. That's like me saying, well, you know, this could be a feminist element of the movie when all the women are competent and the men aren't. He's not saying that's the case. He's inferring maybe that is the case. I don't know. There's some evidence. That doesn't make him an idiot. He's just speculating. Yeah, this could be it. I don't know. He's not like, this is the case. This is what happened, like some crazy person. He's just saying, you know, it could be. And this is the whole shtick with the drinker. He's a drunk. He's watching a movie and going, oh, that's weird. Well, I wonder why that's the case. Yeah, I don't know. It's like when I was watching SCTV as a kid, and we had Bill and Doug McKenzie, or there's another one. I don't know if you guys ever watched SCTV in Canada, but there was John Candy and was it O'Flaherty? I can't remember the other guy. And there was there were two film critics, but they were Hicks from the States, and all they cared about was explosions. Everything he blew up good. Oh yeah, he blew up real good. Like they kept saying that. Oh, this movie's boring. Nothing blew up in this movie. Like that was the whole shtick. And once you get that, like it's pretty obvious if you don't get it, because they like dynamite or whatever the blowing up tools were. Once you get that, you're like, oh, okay, that's their line of comedy. The same way the drinker's line of comedy is he's drunk, he's not too sure, but things look a little weird through my beer goggles. I don't know what's going on. So. This is not like, he's not insinuating the movie is woke because of the white guys are all rich baddies that the Penguin targets. He's saying that could be. I don't know. Maybe it is.
I would even say that anything that a drinker said in all of the clips until this point is usually posed as, you know, some sort of a question or a suggestion, and not like a decisive statement. Oh my god. And he takes it as if drinker was just, you know, stating facts, you could say.
Yeah.
So it is very bad faith.
It's a strange interpretation of what is obviously happening. Like if Movie Bob did the same thing, I'd be like, well, he's insinuating this could be an element of X or Y. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. You can make insinuations, not a big deal. He's not saying this is what happened. Like this is a racist film, blah, blah, blah. Because X was like, well, no, it's not a racist film. It just happens to have people of different color. Doesn't make it good or bad. Oh. All right.
Straight white men in his mouth so often, you'd think he was an escort. If he applied even a...
Wow.
Yes.
This guy... I don't mean to be political, but I'm an intellectual. You're not an intellectual when you say stuff like that, sir. You're vulgar.
Also, yeah, he is also again implying jokes about dicks. So maybe there is something on his mind.
Yeah, there's definitely a bias somewhere, and it's not the critical drinker.
Little of that gray matter, maybe he'd come to the conclusion that most rich people in our society tend to be white men. The Riddler was...
What's your point?
Are we going to talk about a subset of that Haaretz, the greatest Israeli leftist newspaper, insists very much to the Israelis in Hebrew. So there's a language barrier, so we don't know about it unless we really go digging. Tells the Jewish people that they are, please be very aware that they are not white people.
Right, like we could argue the...
How do we distinguish between that and look at how rich they are?
Well, we could...
Or is that gonna make us a certain anti-word?
We could use another demographic and say, well, most of the petty criminals in the Batman are white, or the gangs are mostly white. It's like, well, that's not statistically accurate. that's also racist because they're statistically black in most cases. It's like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't think that's really relevant to the film. And if the drinker implies that, he's like, well, this could be. It's like, that's fine. You can guess. I wonder why all the gang whites that Batman beats up are all white too. It's like, I don't know. Casting? It's a weird question, but it's not inherently racist. And then to bring up stats like, oh, look, most criminals are black. It's like, and not in the film. Does that mean?
And this is the distribution for police officers employed, and that looks quite like the population distribution.
Yeah. Does he want the criminals who are white men and rich and corrupt to be the black men, rich and corrupt? Like, what does he want? What's the problem?
We can talk about crime stats if you want, which show that rich black men are still more violent than any others and still commit crime more than any others. Which you would think that, well, if they're rich, why do they still commit crime? I don't know.
It's just a weird thing it's a weird thing to jump on and to bring up stats because, well, in this case, in reality, most people do this sort of behavior and they're this skin color. It's like that's good for them. I don't see how it implies anything.
Yeah, the thing is, the leftists should not start playing and he's a crypto leftist. He tries to fake not being one. They should not start with the stat game and the statistics game, and they usually don't, because when they start going into that, they lose. They can't cherry pick these data forever because it's a very thin line. And beneath that is a whole dark cellar of stuff you don't want to talk about because it completely demolishes every single point that the left has.
Going after police officers and politicians, and again, in our society, they tend to be white. What Drinker is asking for here is diversity, but only amongst the villains of the film. Moreover...
No, he's not. He's just pointing out this is the case in the film. I don't think he called for diversity. He says, if there are woke elements, well, maybe it's this thing. He doesn't know.
What he's conveniently leaving out is Riddler also attempted to assassinate the mayor-elect, a black woman. If all of the...
Wait. He's not talking about the mayor. He's talking about the majority of the bad guys were white, rich, corrupt mob bosses or whatever the thing he said.
The mayor is never a relevantly distinct character in Batman.
I don't get what he's trying. He forgot about this element. It's like
I was going to say except Quincy Sharp and Arkham, but that's the only one.
But in general, it's Batman, Alfred, Gordon, and everybody else is fluid.
The Bat Family, yeah.
Yeah.
This wasn't baffling enough. He himself states this film isn't about race.
And to be fair, Kravitz and Jeffrey Wright both do a great job with the roles they're given, and apart from one poorly judged line from Catwoman right at the end, race never really comes into the picture. So I guess what I'm saying here is that while the movie takes a few little stabs at modern day social issues, it really never dominates the narrative.
Does he even hear himself?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
This is dumb. This is so brain dead. What is he? He's inventing this critical drinker persona. He's attacking it. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? He's not even...
Yes, he hears what he wants to hear. What Drinker did is that he points out the elements in the movie and acknowledges that here it's done in a non-intrusive way. It's not breaking the immersion. At least that. The whole playing Batman as this incompetent clown and Catwoman as hyper competent in contrast, that did break my immersion.
Okay. I repeat, when even Schumacher was more competent than the clown that they tried to pass as Batman in 2022.
This is really stupid. Okay, this is like there's no point in going on because he's attacking his idea of what the drinker is saying.
Yes. That's what leftists do. They don't attack the actual point or the actual person. They always attack a phantom.
Like he
it's
said,
always straw man.
He says that
it's always.
He says
and
that race doesn't matter. Race doesn't matter. It's like, what is? Can you hear this man? Race doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, he doesn't care about the race of the characters. So what is your What is your issue if he is telling you he doesn't care about what race or what this or that is?
Well, as you have said before, he is trying to paint the picture of Drinker, paint an image, and make it all the bad things that leftists hate. If we were to go a few more minutes, he brings up another point in which he just shows himself as a massive racist himself.
Boy. Here we go.
Incredible leap in logic for Godzilla vs.
Kong's been abducted from his homeland and taken across the ocean to America in chains. I mean, there's on-the-nose writing, and then there's next-level stuff like this. I wonder who you're supposed to sympathize with here.
Yes, Drinker just called African slaves apes and tried to frame...
Wait.
What?
Yes.
What? Where? What?
Yep. This is what I meant. Additionally,
it's ironically it's the left that always makes this association,
next level
and
stuff
it's the
like
left
this.
that cheered for Black Panther, where they had the Africans in Wakanda doing monkey dances and monkey noises, and everybody
I wonder who you're
cheered.
supposed to sympathize with here.
Yes, Drinker just called African slaves apes and tried...
All right. I'm getting offended. This is how, like, if someone was next to me saying these things, I would have to step in. Like, excuse me, sir. Can you roll that back a bit and say it again? Because I want to hear it one more time through your brain. Because there's something wrong with you.
And there is additional problem with this, because what he implies here is that Drinker did not watch the movie at all, because he points out that it's actually not going to New York. The problem is that this clip he took it out from is from a trailer review, and he's not telling you that.
Oh, jeez. This is dumb. This is...
No. It's not dumb. It's sinister. This is agitation and propaganda.
Something's wrong here. I'm not sure what it is. It's either sheer stupidity, or this guy knows exactly what he's doing for his base that he's accusing Drinker of riling up or whatever he's targeting.
Yeah.
Yes, and tries to rile up, get in neutral people by claiming, I'm not left-wing. Here I have all the left-wing talking points.
Yeah. He's basically trying to capitalize on the success of someone bigger than him and trying to tear him down because it's an, you could say, quote-unquote, easy target.
Yeah, and Drinker's appeasements with some of the woke crap is not working. Because if you have sinned once against the sinister, then they will never let go of that. And we should have all learned that back in the day through Total Biscuit, where they pissed on his grave when his body wasn't even cold.
All right.
No matter what he tried to appease at the end.
All right. I'm going to calm down and try to get through this.
The screenwriters doing so. English-speaking world call projection. And like almost every observation this guy makes, it's hilariously wrong. They're not even taking Kong to America. They're going to Antarctica in this scene. So not only did he get the scene wrong, he saw racial themes in a film where there are none because his brain immediately goes to black people when he sees an ape in chains.
So the problem in here is that what Drinker made, the inference that Drinker made with the Kong being taken to America, it's because it always happened. It was always done this way. So
that always happens. That they always do that with Kong.
Yes.
And we must not forget that it is always the left that makes the association of Kong being representative of black people being taken to America. Because that is what Red did in her trope videos.
Yep.
We covered that. But sorry for interrupting.
So this is specifically from the trailer that he hasn't seen the movie yet. He's just watching clip by clip from a 1 minute trailer. Okay.
Yes. And this guy is saying that Drinker did not watch the movie because he said this, implying that the clip from this review is from the review of the movie. So it's
from the trailer when it's actually from the trailer reaction.
Yes.
Because the movie does straight up say it's to Antarctica that they're taking him.
All right.
In my last video, I showed a tweet by Drinker that I thought made it painfully obvious what his positions on black people in the media were. What I didn't account for was the insane mental gymnastics people would perform in order to deny that his post was racist in nature. So here's a tweet from a different person. If you're unfamiliar, this person is Nick Fuentes, a proud...
Guilt by association.
It just looks stupid.
Yes, and there are two different images. The one that
these are not
the whole cast.
Yeah, and these are not real characters.
Yeah.
They're just cardboard cutouts of here. Look at this gender race combination with weird clothes.
Yeah, what is that stuff on her shoulders?
Also, Mike, the Minecraft movie is a craptastic isekai.
Really?
I cannot imagine anyone wanting to watch this. This trailer represented all of the sins of video game adaptation.
Oh, great. Anyway,
you showed us to a child, and the child will be offended by what the hell.
We're almost 9 minutes in, and I just don't like this guy at all. He's just horrible at critiquing. He is projecting. He is creating straw men, and I'm just like, dude, did you slow down? Just stop and listen. Can't be that hard. Anyway, as we continue.
Supremacist. Sounds controversial. Having a name like Fuentes while being a white supremacist, but no one ever said white supremacists were intelligent. The point is...
Are you, like, what is this? No one knew Adolf.
Nobody takes Nick Fuentes serious.
Yeah, but his name, like Adolf Hitler, come on. Like, who calls Hitler a racist? That's a silly name for a racist. Okay. We're criticizing names now for not being white enough.
Yeah, go make fun of Hitler not being Aryan enough. Because what a surprise.
This just shows you that the white supremacists are the truly inclusive ones.
Well, since the Proud Boys were founded and led by a Hispanic. Doo-doom.
This is dumb.
Yes.
This is more than just sinister. This is just like dumb sinister. I see evil everywhere. Because you're a moron, sir. That's why you see evil everywhere.
Sinister moron.
Yeah. It's just like, he must be evil. Therefore, he's evil. So let me just say things like he has a desire to drink alcohol. He must be evil. Like, what are you talking about?
Seem to be placing emphasis on a specific movie. I mean, now that I've told you this person is a white supremacist, it's obvious.
It doesn't matter. It hasn't. He's
also a homosexual furry.
But look what he's saying. Are you effing kidding me? He's not saying anything racist. He's just saying, what the hell is that? What is going on in this movie with this scene?
Yeah. Because this is not a human character. This is a caricature.
It could have been an Asian man. It could have been a little girl. It's like, what is going on?
His issue, isn't it? So I'll ask again. What do you honestly think Will's problem with this image was?
It looks ridiculous.
I have as much problems with the second guy from the left and the girl in the background who's wearing a trash bag.
Do you know who that guy in the middle is?
No, and I don't want to.
That is Jason Mamoa.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my god.
Yep.
Is he running out of money?
I know.
It's the ideal example of look at how they massacred my boy.
Yeah, like his dreadlocks are gone. He doesn't look buff at all. There's nothing attractive about it.
It's the emasculation of Jason Momoa.
That must be a wig. They must have like covered up his dreads in a little like a ponytail and then like put this giant wig on him. There's no way. How would you undo all those dreads and like,
How much did they pay him for this?
I know.
Because that movie's gonna tank.
It kind of looks like a fantasy flick, like a low budget fantasy flick from the 80s, but with like bigger budget. With all this CGI.
Budget, but with bigger budget.
Yeah, I know. It's like this cheap ass production, but there's all these great CGI in the background.
Don't you find it racist that they always depict loud, fat black women? That they depict black women as big, fat, and loud.
That is the only thing they know.
There's some gorgeous black girls out there. They should really just put them in movies. I'd be like, yeah, let's go see that with the beautiful, athletic girl in a jumpsuit who's black and she's jumping around all the lava pits or whatever.
It's either this or the super afro.
The super afro in the 70s.
Yeah.
The blaxploitation.
I mean, they had it in Wolfenstein.
Oh, really?
And that one character with the bug eyes. I think
the
it was
new
even
ones.
based on the same woman in that Star Wars game. It's always the same ugly actress they cast, and they make the model even uglier with bug eyes and a super afro.
Yeah, I don't mind the afro too much unless they're like doing like action stuff and it's kind of goofy to have your hair.
For a time, the left complained about the super afro and the giant hoop earrings as signs of blaxploitation. And now all the leftist black women characters are that.
It was really good in Cowboy Bebop when they had the literal mushroom hunting episode where everything's kind of goofy to begin with. So that was fine. I like that. That was great.
Yeah.
So you could have fun with tropes and goofy things, but in the right context. With this, I'm like, I don't know what to think. You're like, what is going on? And is this like a never-ending story premise? Like, I don't know what's happening here. I'm like a Jumanji. Like, what is happening? I don't know what this means.
It's just bad isekai.
Yeah, I know.
We are New Yorkans or something, and we go into the video game world, and oh look, everything is weird. And,
yeah.
Fuck off. It's the dumbest plot ever. Like this is the difference to Japanese isekai. They at least take it somewhat seriously, even when it's comedy.
Oh, I've been watching the summer season of isekais. There's always new ones, and I don't even remember some of these mangas, but the one I do remember, the manga was great. The anime sucked. And I'm like, why does it suck? And I realized it because everything they did in the first episode was first person singular. So it's just a giant inner monologue and the guy's talking to us. And it's like, this is weird. Like he's just telling us what he's thinking as he's doing things. And it feels like a 7-year-old wrote a 9-page script of like, there was a button, so I pressed it, and a secret door opened it, and I walked through it. And it was like, oh, this is bad. This is really bad. As opposed to the manga, which is just, inner dialogue's normal, and and narration is normal, and everything is like, ooh, mystery. So it doesn't quite work in an anime very much, unfortunately.
I think this is the difference to American cinema doing these things. The scripts are like the ad hoc attempts of first acting classes in high school. That's a level of script complexity and creativity that is there.
All right. Almost 10 minutes.
He's this upset about Jason Momoa's just getting started.
Conservatives do this thing where they'll sit in a room, they'll watch a girl and a guy go into the other room, and they'll hear her screaming for 30 minutes and then come back out like bloodied and bruised, and you'll be like, bro, did that guy just beat the shit out of her? And the conservatives will look you in the eye, dead in the eye, into the ovals of your soul. They will look into you, and they will say, I didn't actually see it happen, did you? How can you improve that? Like, why would you assume that? Do you even fucking know? Like, they're the most shameless Bad faith people need it.
What is this? Why did we just hear that?
I've missed the part where I don't know why we cut to Destiny.
This was 30 seconds of Destiny rambling on about some girl getting beaten up and conservatives saying it didn't happen, dude. Or whatever.
It's because of the fact that all right-wingers hate women.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't know that. I forgot.
And Mr. Destiny here, the cool guy that got cucked multiple times, is saying that, yeah, the right-winger's bad.
Also, why are the most prominent white ringers women?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm too tired to make that rant.
This is getting dumber and dumber as we go. Why would you quote this dude? I'm not political. Here's a political commentator. Like, all right.
The actual psychopath.
Yeah.
One of the tactics of
What? You just clipped in Destiny in no context. Why would you do that? Okay, fine, whatever.
Plausible deniability, so that when they find deflections. In my previous video, I brought up one of them, the "but Ripley from Alien" defense. In short, these people try to use
what? Ripley is a great example of a female hero. What are you like? What's wrong with that?
It's your token female character that you like. So anytime you criticize anyone, all the women, you cannot be misogynist because you like Ripley. That is the logic here.
What?
It's if you remember when the agitprop assholes like Anita Sarkeesian started this whole thing with media criticism from the feminist perspective, they actively ignored characters like Ripley and Samus Aran until it was inevitable, because people brought these characters up constantly, and then they tried to minimize them. The feminists tried to minimize these characters then.
I do recall.
And this is what this is. He's trying to minimize the relevance of Ripley.
She's in the first Metroid, if you can call that, whatever you want to talk about sexism in a Metroid game, the first one. I remember this because she was so stupid. She says that Samus Aran was a prize to be won because if you completed the game in a certain order or a certain speed, you could take her clothes off or her suit off and she would have less clothing on. And I'm doing
that.
Samus was the one winning the prize, and the prize was just getting to sit down and relax.
And to me, that's great. Oh my God, I did it a certain way, and she looks totally different. I can replay the game. That's awesome. And
again, as I've said before, that was all of that was out of a joke that they decided to run with.
Yeah, and it worked, and it was simple enough to implement. It causes replay value. Let's do it again and see what happens next. And then she takes off more of her suit. Cool. That's cool. What's wrong with that?
To the point where it even spanned a rumor that if you beat the game fast enough, she'd be buck naked. But that obviously was just to keep people. That was just to keep people playing the game.
I remember playing it all the way through and did it the third time, and she didn't take all her clothes off. I'm like, oh, it's like that was expected.
Did you ever manage to get the bikini ending?
Yeah, I got it. I
nice.
Blasted through it. Yeah, it was really fun.
And then speedruns were born.
Yep.
Yeah.
At least partially at that point. Metroid was one of the big hands in that.
Yeah, and no one was like, "Oh, that's sex." At the day, no one cared. It was just a cool game. That was one of the best adventure side scroll, the only adventure side scroller we had.
Yeah.
At the time.
And look, and what does it do? Women get men to their best performance.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's part of the whole joke, and it worked. And Metroid ended up being one of the big franchises for Nintendo because of that.
Alrighty, let's go on right after the super chat from JJJ Madness. Trust me, guys, it only gets worse. Yeah, this is bad. This is stupid. Like, if you're gonna criticize Drinker, stay on topic, keep with his examples, and criticize what he's saying is good or bad. He just brought up a random dude that has nothing to do with the commentary, with the topic, the theme, or anything. And now he's going to Twitter, as you never do, because why would you do that? And now we're going to take him seriously about his analysis when he gets emotional and swears and starts off with a Nazi reference. It's like, oh God, dude.
Yeah, the problem is that you can actually find a way to criticize Drinker, but this is not it.
Yeah.
This is not it.
He is not the most sophisticated, obviously. He's playing the role of a drunken movie watcher. It's really easy to take that apart. But you got to be brain dead not to realize he's playing a role to make you laugh and share potentially his opinion on what he likes or dislikes about a movie. And if that's it, great. Like, I wouldn't criticize Donkey because he's there to make you giggle and say stupid shit. And that's fine. Until he actually gets serious and you're like, okay, now he's saying a lot of words. Now this is where his tastes are. It's like, okay, then we can criticize that. That's fine. But then people will defend him saying, well, he's just trying to make you laugh. All right. We are past 10 minutes. It's getting worse. We usually reserve this for the last two, but this is just downward spiral.
Example, or are similar to the identity of a group that they regularly target to pretend they are not prejudiced against that group. In political discourse, this is probably more well known as, but I have black friends. We know that doesn't actually work as a defense.
Sure it does. I have all kinds of friends that are...
Why would a racist have that?
Yeah, what?
The most racist people against blacks are other blacks.
Oh, yeah.
I see nothing wrong.
Especially the Africans.
The real reason it doesn't work is because the left doesn't care anyway.
I see nothing wrong with people bringing up the fact that they're married to women and they have daughters, and people accuse you of being sexist. It's like, no, I employ women. I'm married to a woman. I have a daughter. I love her.
Why? You mean you are enslaving and subjugating them?
Okay.
Because in the power dynamics, obviously, you are. As a man, by definition, the enslaver.
Well, that was the time that Jeremy.
Unless you're Muslim and put your woman in a bathrobe, then it's feminist.
Yeah, that's still different, isn't it? I was gonna mention that when we had Jeremy come on that one time, and that fellow accused him of being sexist. And
Xander Hall.
Yeah. He's like, I have a wife, I have a daughter, I employ women. What are you talking about? Like, what? Why would I hate women?
Like because he covered Brie Larson so much, but that's only because Brie Larson doesn't know when to keep her fucking mouth shut.
Yeah. That was awkward.
That's literally the reason.
Yeah. Okay.
Because of slave owners falling in love with their slaves, and that male sexists still love their...
Oh, is this the whole third president syndrome where they think that... he had baby mamas with his slaves? It's like that turned out to be false. Jefferson? Is that the whole thing? Oh, jeez.
But when you have sustained and consistent groups of people, it's entirely reasonable to suggest you have a dislike for those groups. For Will, one of those groups... Okay,
again, what is wrong with disliking people? For reasons that...
I have a group I dislike. It's bad activist actors.
Okay.
That is a very simple thing to go through. It doesn't matter that some of them are women. It's just
yeah, but even
it doesn't matter what it doesn't. See, it doesn't matter what legitimate criticism we bring up, because these disingenuous activists will always twist that, discard that, and just say, "Oh, you just hate women."
Yeah, it's like I can dislike this guy because he sounds stupid. I don't have to defend myself, but if you ask me, and hey, Smud, why do you hate this guy? Well, he's stupid because he said these things, and that's I could be right, I could be right, I could be wrong. It doesn't matter. That's just my feeling and opinion on the matter, because the way he talks and the way he's formulating an argument is childish to the point of being stupid, and parts of it are illogical, or the logic he is using doesn't amount to much. Like what he's doing right now, bringing up organized chaos. Don't bring up organized chaos. Don't use other people who are effectively losers in the arguing space of media and criticism.
Wasn't that guy also a bread tuber?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. Anyone who associates with these people who attack critics in the dumbest way without actually listening.
Which brings us back to him claiming that he's not political, but he portrays all the left-wing communist assholes as the good critics on YouTube.
It's very odd because when we occasionally watched, I think we watched Organized Chaos last year or 2 years. I can't remember. We stopped watching because it's pointless. We
blacklisted him.
Yeah, it's like this guy is not worth your time. And if they're not worth your time, you stop watching them. I don't care if you're a critic of the critics, but once you analyze one person and realize, okay, he's got nothing going on. Maybe watch him a year from now. Maybe he's matured. Maybe he's learned something. Maybe he went to school. Maybe he wrote a book. I don't know. He learned. He grew. Maybe then you listen to him again. And if he's still the same old broken clock, then just forget about him. I don't get this. Like we used to cover Maggie Mee a lot, and I don't know why we stopped, but probably because it's too much and it's kind of boring. But
we ran out of short videos.
But she's entertaining because it's so unexpectedly weird and wacky and goofy, and then she brings her politics into it, and then she hates Trump and all this stupid shit. It's fun. It's like watching The Room, and you get another Room movie every 2 months from now.
I still remember that Medusa makeup she once had, like with the green and all of that.
It's so incredible that such a person exists, and you can't help but see that. She's putting on an act. She's performing with all her dolls.
She's that. I told you that's not what she's doing.
Well,
she's indulging in her magical fantasies.
That's what
this is the real Maggie.
That's like you're in your room. That's her
inside. She's showing us her inside magical world.
And her room is a stage, and she's acting out whatever she feels is the old woman persona, or the crazy cat lady, or the literal cat, or
which she will turn into,
or the makeup weirdo, or whatever. Like she has all these hats she wears.
And I still remember how you called her looking like a man.
Yeah.
I have the clip of that and everything.
She was handsome. She looked like a handsome lady.
Stop.
Don't do it.
That's a compliment.
Just stop. Quit while you're ahead.
There are nice things you could say about crazy people. It's true. Anyway, we can keep going.
Women. Let's examine one of the most egregious cases of Will's attempts at plausible deniability.
Right.
On January 5th, 2020, Drinker uploaded a video about The Mandalorian. In it, he had this to say about Gina Carano.
But for the life of me, I'll never understand why they cast Gina Carano. I mean, she's big and burly, and she obviously knows what she's doing when it comes to the fight scenes, but she's a fucking cage fighter, not an actor. Watching her trying to emote is almost as painful as watching Brie Larson trying to be funny. Oh well, it could have been worse. They could have cast Ronda Rousey.
Pretty obvious he dislikes this person and thinks she shouldn't be an actor. Fair enough.
No, because she isn't an actor.
In Drinker's defense, that was still pretty early in the show's run before we actually got better material with her in that role.
Yeah, and when I saw that episode for the first time, I also thought, oh, it's gonna be the strong woman thing who beats down Mando. Okay, here we go. And then they turned her into an actual character.
Yep.
That was, you could say that was the subversion, the actual one. So, yeah. Happens.
However, later that year, Gina got into a string of spats on Twitter that had her facing accusations.
It wasn't Twitter. It was something else.
Oh, and Twitter was involved, and the accusation of racism is involved. Is what makes her a bad person. The accusation, because she likened what the socialists are doing to what the Nazis were doing, which is correct.
It was the equivalent. What she did. She's still in court over this. Thankfully, through Elon Musk gave her some help there. But all she did was repost a very well-known newspaper article or something. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, and that was in response to or after she refused to, as the company told her, to put pronouns into her Twitter bio.
And she put beep boop or something like that. It was it was cute. Yeah. So she didn't do anything bad. She literally did. She just reposted the link and.
She refused to bow down to an anti-science bullshit cult ideology.
Okay.
And she was subsequently fired by Disney. Then, a few months later, Drinker makes a video about Gina so embarrassing, you just have to hear it to believe it.
Gather round, dear viewer, as I tell you a tale. It's the tale of a woman who stood tall in the face of jealousy, cowardice, hatred, and vengeance, and dared to utter a single word. No. It's the story of the girl who wouldn't back down. She fought and won many battles and earned herself great acclaim. But the young woman had her eyes set on a higher goal, and eventually she gave up her life of fighting, travelling instead to the great kingdom of Hollywood to seek fame and glory as an actor instead. And as it turns out, her long years of training and fighting served her well, and soon she was chosen for many roles on the silver screen. Her triumph was cemented when the king and queen chose her to play a soldier, fighting amongst the stars themselves. Her fame was growing fast, but sadly, so was her list of enemies.
This is a flip-flop.
It's not a flip-flop,
No, it's not a flip-flop.
How can you say it's a flip-flop?
It's the fact that when we got more of Cara Dune, that showed what she was really made of.
No, not even that. It's that this guy refuses to see the difference between the role and the actor, and the levels of the criticism, because the initial criticism was she is not an actress, she is a cage fighter. Okay, she did okay, she did decent. That's a later thing. What Drinker brings up here is that the reason she was fired was for political reasons and for unjust political reasons. Not for her acting, not because she was a woman, but for her political opinion of not wanting to put stupid words into her bio. Words that would virtue signal about, I'm part of the communist anti-science bullshit.
Yeah, it's like people who dislike Bernie or whoever that guy was in American politics. He's still around, but admire him for having those views. Like, oh, you still believe in what you believe. Good for you. Wow, it takes guts to do that nowadays. Even though you might disagree with his views. That's totally great. Good for you, sir. So I can disagree with you, even though you believe these things, but the fact you do believe them amongst all this debate and all these people who hate you, that's good. You stand for what you believe in, and that's exactly what Gina is doing in a very different light, because she literally did nothing wrong. And it took so many years to get back into legal cases to have a legal case, because she was like, what do? I can't do anything. And then Elon Musk was like, no, we're going to look at your case.
Go on.
And actually get some closure, because that was you just can't sue, you just can't fire someone on discriminatory reasons. That's illegal. But if it's if there's a contract to say
that's
so.
why. See, and this is the point. This is the reason why they seek to redefine racism as not being possible against white people, because then it is not discrimination, then there's no discrimination against white people, and you can fire white people based on being white. That's because they can't change the law, because the law is virtuous in this instance. They're trying to change the meaning of the words of the law, so that the law changes that way into their sinister, twisted version. And I forgot the other point I wanted to make. We'll get back to it.
All right. 12 minutes and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
No, it's gone.
What happened?
No, it's gone.
so insane,
birthday.
it could put Crocs and Birkenstock out of business. And this isn't even the only video he's made about her. Listen to this nonsense.
One of the problems with hiring strong, independent women to work at your company instead of the usual...
Oh, I remembered. Yeah, it's one of those days. If he was that neutral guy, instead of the leftist agitprop asshole that he is, he would have shown us what the reasons were for Gina Carano being accused of being racist. But he didn't. Because he has to protect the leftist narrative. So he runs with the accusations.
Assemblage of soft, entitled, like-minded corporate drones that have never had an original thought in their entire lives is that they don't always think, say, or do the things that you want them to. Case in point, Gina Carano, a former women's MMA fighter turned actor who was brought in to play Cara Dune on The Mandalorian, and at first, all seemed well. The show was a success and Carano's character soon became a fan favourite. Unfortunately, she began to ruffle feathers behind the scenes at Disney Lucasfilm by refusing to spout the same politically acceptable talking points as everyone else at the company, and even dared to express some conservative political views at times.
He spoke about this person like she was a dog, outright saying she can't even act.
What's
So,
No, just that she was not a trained actor.
additionally, what he now brings up is that Drinker now likes her, even though the only thing that Drinker said was that she became fan favorite. Not that he is a fan of her, but that she became a favorite of many other people.
Yeah, he also, in his critique earlier, he also didn't say that he disliked her.
Yes.
It was simply a logical assessment. This is not an actress.
Yeah, this guy is putting out clips and then saying, "Do not believe your lying eyes, listen to what I am telling you."
Yeah, this is very strange. Like if I dislike a
He's
writer
over-interpreting.
for one book, I can like a writer for another book. This is very common in writing, where you think the guy you like is going to write another great story and it screws up. That's fine. You say, yeah, I liked him in 1999, I hate him in 2001. It's just how it goes. And this is not even the case. In this one, he's just saying, I didn't like this episode with Gina Carano in it because it didn't bring, whatever reason. I can't even remember what he said. And now he's like, as a person, this is what she's done with her life, and now she's fighting against the system because that's what she... There's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing against... These are two different topics. They just happen to include the same person. You can have, I can agree with, I don't know, Donald Trump's view on the border and disagree with his view on tariffs. You know, you can do that with people. You could have discussions where you see eye to eye on one thing and disagree on another. Amazing.
He spouts nonsense and conspiracy.
How is it nonsense? I don't get this. I agree 100% with everything that Plato says. No.
Dear.
It's like, yeah, everything, every single word. Okay. Every philosopher I've ever read, I 100% agree. All the ones I dislike, I disagree.
Then world ice theory is inevitable.
This is insane. I have to agree with one person entirely on everything. There's no room for detail or nuance or buts.
Here we see you can make enough. If we should make a narcissistic behaviors bingo card, because here this is your example of black and white thinking. Can only go completely one way or completely the other way. There's nothing in between.
All right.
Incapable of nuance.
And puff pieces.
But for the life of cast Gina Carano, I mean, she's big and burly, and she obviously knows what she's doing when it comes to the fight scenes, but she's a fucking cage fighter, not an actor. Watching her trying to emote is almost as painful as watching Brie Larson trying to be funny.
This man is shameless. If it isn't obvious by now, he has a clear political agenda.
He doesn't like her as an actor. He admires her as a person. How can you not?
He even praised her, fighting skills and all of that. So yeah.
I would also and on that one, while I did think initially, because there was nothing much more to that first episode where she was in, that this was going to go that bad tropish route where this is not a character and she only exists as to be the superwoman that puts down Mando. She does emote much better than Brie Larson. That's not much, or Amber Heard, because that's not much of an achievement really. You only need to be a normal person. Any normal person has more emotions than those psychos.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Work. Before he knew girl boss, only here to promote Kathleen Kennedy's woke agenda and shouldn't have even been cast. But now she's a shield he can use to deflect criticism about his obvious disdain for strong female characters. You know, look over here and pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Who are you talking about? What is this? What analogy are you making, sir?
This is the projection part.
Yeah, he came back to the point of you are criticizing. Damn it. Okay, let's just move on. But it's the thing he said before with the "I am not racist, I have a black friend." It's the same kind of principle.
Yeah.
That he's
Here the projection is that this the man behind the curtain, the manipulator, the Wizard of Oz, the Zardos. That's what the left is always doing. So he accuses Drinker of that because that's what he and his side does all the time. Because narcissists are uncreative. That's why they project.
Spoken! Who are you?
Speaking of agendas, the Barbie movie and his subsequent analysis evaporated any hope I had left for this man's integrity. Listen to how he sums up the marketing of the film and then his reading of the actual film's release.
Now, before I dive into this review properly, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the hard work and genius PR campaign of the Warner Brothers marketing department. You guys really pulled off a miracle with this one, successfully duping all of us, including me, into believing that Barbie was going to be just another colourful, light-hearted, easygoing family comedy with some cheeky, self-aware humour, ironic meta-gags, and probably capped off with a blandly inoffensive female empowerment message about girls learning the value of their own potential. What none of us expected was 114 minutes of spiteful, bitter, mean-spirited, borderline unhinged hatred of men and everything even vaguely associated with them. Barbie is like the deformed, mutated rage child of Captain Marvel, Ghostbusters 2016 and She-Hulk. It is pure brain cancer in movie form, and I was genuinely shocked by the sheer, undisguised contempt this film has towards 50% of the human population.
Besides the fact that this is one of the most hyperbolic, nonsensical summations of this movie, how could he have possibly come to that conclusion for the film's marketing? It was plain...
Because he watched it.
He admired it?
Because he saw the movie after, before he made this.
Yeah. The marketing was very different than what the movie's about.
Yeah, it was a trap. Deliberately. Because it was to get little girls to watch feminist propaganda. And the feminist propaganda was so honest about what it believes that it made the men look good.
They literally had to brainwash the Barbies out of liking, helping men.
And rig the election to change the constitution.
Yes.
So the Barbies were the villains. And Ken's song being, I am Kenuff. I am enough. That is something that the victims of narcissistic abuse have to learn. And Ken is in a narcissistic abuse relationship with Barbie, who uses him as a commodity and discards him whenever she feels like it. It's a brilliant, accidental admission of feminist thought, of how feminists view the world, made by a feminist who thought she was making something great for her side of the debate, when in reality she just showed how vile her side of the debate is. It's in similar fashion, failed at conveying the intended message as Paul Verhoeven with Starship Troopers and RoboCop, where what it turned into, what the movies he made, were doing the exact opposite of what he wanted to achieve. This is the same.
I'm writing so many notes down. I'm going to leave in his comments. It's just like, we just pause every sentence. And it's like, can you believe this guy? It's like, yeah. How is he so hyperbolic? He's not. Anyway.
Obvious that Margot's Barbie was the main character and that she would face an existential crisis.
Really?
Do you guys ever think about dying?
On top of that, they show Barbie...
That could just be a comedic element.
Look, what happened to Death of the Author? The left loves Death of the Author, but suddenly what we see on screen doesn't matter anymore, what the movie actually is. And we have to just believe of what the author intended the movie to be instead of what it really does. It always flip-flops, and I believe, and at this point I would believe that Death of the Author was invented by the left just to have their cake and eat it too. Claim one way or the other, whichever is more positive for them.
It's secretly adhering to the fact that art is functional, and that if you don't have an operation or a demand for this kind of art, then it has no purpose. So modern art is useless in certain contexts. So it's like, yeah, we don't care what your intention was. We're using your amazing art sculpture as a doorstop because it's really heavy and it fits under the door perfectly, and it's smooth, and there's no spiky parts. whatever that shape is you made out of wood, it works very well. So, yeah, art serves a function, and the intentions of the author are irrelevant unless that's in the art itself, in some perceived format, not in a fourth wall break, but in an actual. I wanted to make a romantic comedy, and you made a romantic comedy. It was very good. Okay, great. Anyway, 16 minutes in. Oh my God.
His feet going flat, suggesting that the film would be clearly feminist in nature, as feminists have been arguing against heels for decades. The marketing material also shows Barbie entering the real world and experiencing sexual assault, and I can only conclude that Drinker's media literacy is questionable at best. To belabor this point, he's been caught changing the titles of his videos after a media property releases.
Yeah, but that wonderful term of media literacy, again, was invented by the socialists in order to mean socialist dogma. It's just a new word for political correctness.
Okay.
If you are media literate, if you agree with what's politically correct, which was a term invented by the Soviet Union.
We've encountered a few people that have covered or changed the titles of their videos. It's the easiest form of SEO ranking you can do, and that's why not only tools that YouTube has, plugins in your browser to help you, but even YouTube recommends it sometimes as well in its analytic data. So why he did this, there could be many reasons, but this happened. Like, remember when we covered Maggie May? She did it. I don't know why. Like that, the very minute we started streaming, she changed the title of.
I think that had other reasons.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's not just us, but I'm just saying there's all kinds of reasons why you change titles in your videos, and I would wish. Sorry?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say that one of the most common things about changing the titles is just to try and get more viewers. That is a completely normal thing to do, I think, for a YouTuber.
Yeah, just in Maggie May's case, that was exactly because we called her out on something.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Perception of marketing material. And if all that wasn't enough to prove that Mr. Jordan has the integrity of a sandcastle.
How is changing the title of a video have anything to do with someone's integrity? I wish the people
in the case it's called out on deceptive video title.
Yeah, but the people that we covered, I wish they changed the title of their videos so it accurately describes what exactly their video is about. And all of them would be, I'm rambling about 5 different things in this video because there's no through line. It's just I have 5 thoughts and let me talk about them for 20 minutes.
Yeah, his breadtube friends, they are constantly doing this.
To my attention on one of Drinker's Isabella Merced about the failure of Madame Web.
Some of the stars of the film have got theories about why that is, and one of them is right here. Isabella Merced? Is that the word? Merced?
Sure. Yeah.
She said it failed for one simple reason. For the same reason that the Marvels or Bird of Prey failed, because the male audience still hides a deep contempt for everything that is starring strong, independent women.
Oh, God. The truth is the truth, I guess.
Sure. I mean, that's definitely the reason Birds of Prey failed and the Marvels. It wasn't because they were bad films that no one wanted. For sure.
Isabella was, of course, inundated with hate from parrots that took these quotes at face value because why would grifters lie to them? She then had to come out and deny.
So he's accusing these people who watched that podcast or said other things on other videos for buzzwords, and then Twitter users take those buzzwords and just type them to her. Is that it?
I mean, the important.
We know that most of the alleged hate these people get is made up or doesn't exist in the first place.
Yeah. Well, the important thing here is that he accuses Drinker of making up stuff and then basically using that to harass others. But what is important is the reaction of the people of the podcast. Everyone agrees because everyone thinks that this is something very, very believable. So, yeah, that is not a problem he is making it out to be.
Let me rewatch it. This was all sarcasm, and he's taking it seriously. I'm trying to wrap my head around this.
For sure.
Isabella was, of course, inundated with hate from parrots that...
Wait. Who is he quoting, first off?
Because the male audience are said. Is that the word?
Said about the failure of Madame Web.
Some of the stars of the film have got theories about why that is, and one of them is right here.
It was one of the actors that he's quoting.
Said?
Okay, so he's reading her words. And then
reading her words in an article, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's accusing the Drinker and all these people on this podcast that then people heard that, and then what? They go to Twitter and then accuse her of her own words? What? That's what she said, not what they said.
Well, apparently she didn't say that, but yeah, whatever the case might be, even if she didn't, it's so believable that everyone is... This is just a normal thing for us at this point.
Okay.
What a ball of yarn.
What a weird thing.
Yeah.
All right, here's Nick Gurr. Hi, Nick. How you doing? It's probably being said a bunch, but Drinker only changed the titles on his videos because people confused it for his review of the movie rather than his commentary on a trailer. Remember, if a lefty retard, lest I repeat myself, calls you a grifter, you win. Yeah. Let me write that down. You guys can keep going.
Sure.
Oh, you meant to... Oh,
she said it failed for one simple reason. For the same reason that the Marvels or Bird of Prey failed, because the male audience still hides a deep contempt for everything that is starring strong, independent women.
Oh, God. The truth is the truth, I guess.
Sure. I mean, that's definitely... Prey failed and the Marvels. It wasn't because they were bad films that no one wanted. For sure.
Isabella was, of course, inundated with hate from parrots that took these quotes at face value because why would grifters lie to them? She then had to come out and deny these clearly false allegations, but by then, the damage was already done. To date, there has been no update, no retraction, no public apology on Twitter.
For doing what? For reading or for quoting her? What how do you...
Well, she came out and said that this was not something she ever said or anything like that. So this is something he says that Drinker made this up completely, and then she was harassed because of that.
All right. Well, I'm not going to comment on that. That seems up in the air, but anyway.
Spreading this quote, and that's because he has a vested interest in seeing the culture war proliferate in media discourse.
For spreading a quote? Why spreading a quote bad?
Yeah, I'm
inciting hate.
This is so...
That brings the clicks.
Yeah, if I read a quote from, I don't know, Ben Shapiro, who's a big name, and this causes others to go onto his feed and reply, hey, did you say this? Blah, blah, blah. That's not very good. Blah, blah. Why would I have to apologize for quoting him? That's a weird thing to do. It's like a news organization quoting Donald Trump, and then a bunch of people jump on Donald Trump, and whatever, Trump doesn't like that. I want an apology from this news agency. It's like, they just quoted you, dude. There's no reason to... Like, we didn't do anything wrong. We just read your words.
It just means the woman is so infallible that her words must not lead to repercussions towards her by anyone quoting her words.
Apparently, he's believing the woman who says, I never said that. And Drinker is like, did he make it up? I highly doubt he made it up for the sake of it. He's in a podcast with a bunch of his friends. Why would he do that? And all you have to do is just, I could like Google search the exact sentence he said. I'll probably find it. So, but I don't want to, because we're spending enough time on this fellow enough. I thought we were done with him. So I'm just going to skip. I'm not going to even leave a comment on this topic, because everything he's saying is almost 80% incorrect. Or biased.
It's all twisted and on its head and inside out.
Yeah, it's like here's a bunch of men talking, and then someone got a bunch of hate tweets, and I'm like, okay. So now we have to parade ourselves. Like, guys, don't do anything on Twitter whenever I say. It's like, no, you can do whatever you want. I hate this. Don't go off on someone you disagree with if I talk about them on social media. It's like, you can do whatever you like with that information. Just please don't hurt anyone. Jeez. There's a disclaimer on everyone's videos ever. Don't go after people. Okay. All right.
It's profitable for him, even if it shows the lack of research and effort he puts into his work. No discernment, no ability to perform an investigation, and haste.
What do you want? A police to go to his door and say, "Where'd you get your information, sir?" Like, what?
No, it means that if he ever quotes anyone or says any kind of information, he should have made at least a few hours of research before saying it, because this might lead to someone going to harass person. That is a completely stupid point, and it only goes on their opponents. They never hold themselves to that standard.
Yeah.
As we can see by this video.
This is very strange.
Really a obviously fake quote in a concerted effort to confirm his biases. Why would you take anything he says seriously at this point? How can you trust he's done the homework? This is not the first time he's been caught manipulating.
Why are you
the
quoting
narrative.
Destiny?
The YouTuber
pillar of. Can we stop now? How many red flags do you need, guys? Destiny was bad enough. I would have stopped before Destiny. Now we have pillar of garbage.
Yeah, totally not a left winger.
Oh yeah, he's the
totally being accused of being a right winger.
He's the most rational, logical fellow you've ever heard of.
Telling you, socialists are
Drinker for
pathological
lying
liars.
about scenes in Glass Onion, because Drinker has a political gripe with Rian Johnson, the director of Glass Onion and The Last Jedi, a film he and his ilk have pilloried for the past 7 years because of perceived wokeness. Here's a clip.
The example Drinky gives for Rian Johnson.
Perceived.
Yeah.
That movie was absolute insane garbage. A pretentious and deliberate destruction. But, yeah. Well. Hey, he pillories for 7 years, it's bad. You pillory some other YouTuber, it's good. Fuck you.
Blatant is the scene where Blanc and, as we later see, Helen.
Batista's watching his girlfriend supposedly having an affair with Miles, only to be observed by Blanc. Now look at the later version of this exact same scene. Noticed how Helen's been added in here when she totally should have been visible before.
Except, no, that isn't true. There's a reason the Drinker plays these clips on mute. Let me put the sound back on for you. That was the first time we see this. There's a close shot of Duke, then we hear the twig snap, and then we pull back to a shot revealing Blanc. Here's the scene as we're shown it later on.
Wait a second. Is this the same movie, or did they remake the movie?
This is the same movie, but this is the part when it's, explaining how everything happened. So you have scenes that were not like that before and are changed because we have to explain what we did.
Okay, but
in the meantime,
did this actually, this second scene actually happen, or is someone just speculating and they're just going through the movie format of?
The second scene theoretically happened because this is the, the mystery thing. So the first scene ran normally with the movie, and the second scene is someone recounting and giving an explanation of how the certain things happened.
And is that explanation objective, being that this is how it actually happened? Or are they lying?
It's the usual detective mystery thing. So, there was this one detail you didn't notice that was there.
Okay, so this is one of the faux
but actually it wasn't put in the scene.
So this is one of the faux pas that, from my perspective, it's this. The problem is we are third-person omniscient with the camera. And you cannot do this in a book, and you especially can't do it on TV or in a movie where the scene is now different. Okay? I don't know if you guys have ever read Agatha Christie. Apparently, Rian Johnson has. He's a big fan of Agatha Christie. He's probably never read her stuff, or watched the adaptations, the various adaptations. This is one thing you never do. You never omit evidence, or you change a scene, or hide something.
The entirety of Glass Onion was like that in the Fan of Knives, or
really
it was this other movie.
Wow. See,
it's Knives Out.
Yeah, I've never watched those movies. I don't intend to, but I mean, when I watch the BBC stuff from Hercule Poirot or Tommy and Tuppence, or there's a new one coming out. She wrote 2 books on this, some woman. I've never read her plays. Coming out soon. Apparently, Peter Dinklage is playing Poirot in an audiobook or something. So anyway, you never ever have 2 scenes where evidence is not shown or all the information is changed. You never do that.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is a gripe of bad writers and directors, and they do this constantly.
And it shows that Rian Johnson can be as much of a fan of Agatha Christie as he wants to, but he is an idiot who doesn't get that. He doesn't get the substantial things because he thinks that doing it this way is making it better.
Yeah, this is a problem.
Making it worse.
There's a few cases in Sherlock. Have you ever read any of the canon of Sherlock, or even 1 or 2? They have they give you the information, but you don't know what the information means. Then Sherlock comes in and says, "Well, this is what that means." And to the audience who knows detective fiction, they go, "Well, wait a second. That's called unrevealed information, because even though you showed me the times of, let's say, a taxi, you don't know what that means in the context of a London winter." And then Sherlock comes in and says, "Well, taxis in the morning have rubber tires because it snowed and they can't go out. So therefore there has to be tracks and blah, blah, blah." It's like, well, I didn't know that. So I can't even guess or start to making inferences or deductions, whatever direction you want to go in time, if you don't give me that information. That's the problem with Sherlock, because he's so smart. And all the laymen are running around, well, here's this information, here's that information, and Sherlock just walks in and he already knows who's done it because he has all the information from past experiences. So that was a huge problem with the Sherlock books that Doyle sort of fixed up as he went further on. But yeah, it's a huge problem in detective fiction. So to do shit like this is amateurish. It's really childish. And considering the quality of the film and, was it 35 millimeter? I don't know what they're using. It looks great, but, immediately as a detective buff, I'm just like, yep, this is childish. This is crap. Anyway, sorry about that.
We start with this slightly wider shot, revealing Blanc and Helen, then Helen leaves, causing that sound, and Duke turns round. This point is the moment we saw earlier on, and there's a very obvious, very obtrusive sound cue, the sole purpose of which is to communicate precisely this. Look, you can enjoy the way moments like this toy with the audience perspective, complementing the film's themes, these ideas of how we...
No, it's called lying. It's called lying by... You do not lie to your audience with third-person omniscience. You can lie with third or second person because you would change the camera angle and maybe, LeBlanc is behind the tree and he only sees certain things, and that's fine. But that's different data. That's different information. You don't do it with the same camera angle and the same time. It's called. I've talked about this. Four other films do this that aren't mysteries per se. I've talked about that over the years, and it's the most atrocious thing you could do with movies. Movies are supposed to be visual media. You're supposed to experience them as a third-person omniscient perspective, and not use the camera as your first person. Well, this is what Bruce Willis saw when he was a ghost. Oh, okay. Not how everyone else saw him. Like, okay. Didn't know ghosts could walk downstairs and make noise and cast shadows and all that bullshit, but apparently not.
Falsely composite and rationalize from what's really plainly shown to us, or you can dislike it. But what you can't do is lie about how the film constructs moments like these on a mechanical level.
He's not lying.
No, the movie lies.
The movie is lying. And the audience, let's say the drinker's confused, is now like, wait a second, what's real? You don't do that. See, it works with The Last Jedi, believe it or not, because we see one perspective, then we see a second perspective, we see a third perspective with Kylo and Luke, and they're telling a story. And the story they're telling is just a brief account of events, and then it gets deeper and deeper.
Yeah, it gives us a subjective view of this.
He's omitting information.
Different subjective views.
Exactly. It's like the quick rundown is, well, he attacked me and this happened. Boom. And the second one is, well, no, he attacked me and this happened. It's like, oh.
And that's why Luke looks, or Jake Skywalker looks normal in his own vision, in his own memory, and like an absolute madman, murderer from Kylo's perspective.
Right. So
that's the impression that's left.
Exactly. So it can be interpreted as, well, we're just using one person's words to account for a visual representation that the movie's showing us, and they could be lying. It doesn't make a difference because it's not literally what happened. It's just a flashback. It's like, oh, this is what I saw. Well, this is what he saw. And then we put those two together finally in the third one where it's this flow of an entire event. That's fine. Again,
and that tool played there, regardless of the context that Luke Skywalker would not do this in the first place. But for this story, that there's this character that has this worry and does this, that's a well placed visual tool.
Yeah, if this was done in like we saw 3 shots. Different perspectives. The guy sitting down, the LeBlanc behind the tree, and the lady behind the tree. If they showed it from their perspectives, it would be fine. Because that's what this camera sees, that's what the other camera sees, and that's what the third camera sees. That'd be great. But he didn't do that. He shot the same scene because he was lazy. Or whatever the reason was. I don't even know why he did it this way.
I would say lazy is a good explanation.
Yeah, it's just like you don't do this in murder mysteries, especially. You don't do this in cinema. And for Pillar Garbage to be attacking Critical Drinker for being confused, because anyone would be confused, and not liking the scene because it's confusing, is totally fair. You can be confused and get it wrong, because I don't know what's right.
And the drinker does here to cap off his video, to build into this last point.
Why would Drinker do that? Is he incompetent?
Yes, I'm incompetent. Everyone is. We have no idea what's going on. We're sitting there confused. What's the truth? We don't know.
Blatant liar. These are the only damning for his reputation. And yet, he doesn't seem to care, because I guess his followers don't seem to care. I mean, he publicly...
Oh, the projection is. You can look. If you were the sun, if your projection was the sun, and we had a single solar panel, that single solar panel would melt.
Yes.
It wouldn't even provide energy to anyone. It would just melt.
He demonstrates that he can't basic logic all the time. Look at this tweet from Star Wars Holocron. They are very obviously making the point that sometimes a show's first season isn't always where it finally ends up.
Television shows often need more than one season to grow and development. That's not a sentence. And that's a problem of Western writing, mainly American writing. One season should be enough to set everything up and be well written.
All right.
I believe Andor season 1 was well written. That thing did it.
Okay.
All this other stuff.
I got to cover these super chats. This is blowing my mind.
Okay.
JJ Madness. I told you this guy Sims for Pillar of Garbage. I know. I'm a little scared. He even did a podcast with him. Oh God, that would have been fun. The Burband also did a video with Organized Chaos. Are you joking? Who is this guy? Why haven't we
he's certainly not left wing. He's neutral.
Oh my God. Why are we still covering him? This guy is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
All right, another one. This time from the Threadnought. Thank you, sir. Is different and makes the half of the audience with critical thinking hate it, so it's better? I don't think that's a quote. I think he said other.
It's paraphrased.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's paraphrased, but it was his intention to make half the audience. Ryan Johnson, decades ago, said in an interview that his magnum opus would be a movie that half the audience loves and half the audience hates. Yes. And The Last Jedi was that movie.
All right. Here's Frog Jupiter. Hey, how's it going, Mr. Frog Jupiter? Drinker is racist because he believes Kong is black-coated. Oh, don't say that. While read from overly sarcastic, Kong is clearly representation of a black man. Oh, is that what she said? I can't remember.
Yeah, we mentioned that earlier.
She thinks it's racist, but it's okay because it's black. I don't understand. I don't. It's okay when they say it. It's bad when we say it.
Yeah.
Red is a blur. She's a scatterbrained blur, and I don't take anything she says seriously. So
there's another one from Frednode.
Oh dear. We should all sign the petition to reinstate the Wokolite season 2. It's Morbin Time Star Wars edition. What?
Oh God.
There would certainly be content for some people.
Oh God.
Look, the MCU movies got so bad that I thought Morbius was okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I thought that would have been an okay Phase 1 movie. It's that bad. But to this tweet here, I take issue with the next line. Take a look at Breaking Bad, one of the greatest shows ever, but it took its time to really grip you and needed more than one season to do that.
What?
Wrong.
The first season was the grip. It was bloody amazing. You wanted more.
Yeah, the way
and it
that
was a closed story within that. It was closed enough.
Yeah,
they
way
could have
that
stopped after that.
I never watched past, I don't know, the first few episodes. It was a good show. I should have kept going, but I just didn't care.
Additional thing is that for Breaking Bad, it was made by someone who knew how to make a TV show. That was not the case for Acolyte.
Yeah, and Ryan Johnson did do one episode, but he didn't write. He directed, I believe.
Yeah, it was a bottled episode.
Yeah. So the thing with the show is, as far as the average person, like I'm not into these kinds of dramas, but there's lots of moments in every episode where it's like, you get this really rush of adrenaline, like really quick for one scene. It's like, whoa, because Walter is dying and he's trying to figure out what to do with his life, and he gets caught up, and oh my God, he got out of it. Oh my God. There's a lot of that. And I thought that's cool. Like they managed to get that sort of that jump of excitement out of everyone, whether he's killing someone or blowing up a house or whatever. So
also, yeah,
and
also
it go on.
Okay, Someone also made a comparison that the entirety of Breaking Bad was magnitudes cheaper than whatever millions were burned for Acolyte.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Breaking Bad only soap operaed a little bit in the later half.
Right. It changed itself up as it went along. It still had those elements of like the oh my god, that sort of stuff. But then it got really dark and
let's drop Jesse in for the 4th time.
You should have left.
That was the point where it got like, come on, do something new. This is stupid.
I think the writers wanted him to leave after the first season, and then they kept them in for whatever reason. So, but yeah, no, it's successful for various reasons, and writing is one of the major ones. So
the first season was beautiful.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like Star Trek Next Generation, where they're not sure because there's so many writers in the room, and Gene Roddenberry's getting old, and he wants all these things. Like, Gene, you can't do that anymore.
But the thing with the first season of Breaking Bad was especially for me that Bryan Cranston started Walter White almost like Hal, the father of Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh.
And then transitioned into this really dark character. And that was absolutely fascinating to me. And today, he's only being typecast to play Walter White.
Uh-oh.
He never gets to show his range anymore.
I only attributed that to he was the corrupt FBI agent in The Professional. I don't know if you remember that, where he was always on drugs and he was chasing after with the poor guy with the girl.
He was also in Godzilla 2014.
That was horrible.
Oh.
He was just there so that his name was on the movie.
Yeah, he was in Bad 5. I didn't realize that
I was gonna say it's horrible that they had him for so little of the movie, but overall the movie itself was actually good.
It was just so that was his name.
Yeah, I understand that.
It's like false advertising almost. If not, yeah, I'd just go with that. It's false advertising. So next line, I also take issue with. The same for the Clone Wars. Season 1 had a number of rough patches, but with time it grew into one of the most compelling Star Wars stories of all time. It took until the 3rd fucking season. And the whole thing is not in chronological order.
Oh, really?
It is a mess. It's a hot mess. The best episodes are the Dark Force episodes. Because you don't know whether any character is going to survive.
It also took until the 3rd season for them to really delve into material that we didn't already know about at that point.
Yeah, and you had less Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks was mainly in the first 2 seasons.
Only because it had to tie him in somehow, just to say that he was there, and then once that was established, they got rid of him.
Oh, there was this special one on the Rhodian planet, where it was the worst looking episode of the entire show, and it was not the first episode made. I'm not even sure it had shadows. It has had horrible light, horrible textures, horrible animation, horrible everything, as if nobody in the studio wanted to work on the Jar Jar Binks episode. And you even had these moments where, Jar Jar was eaten by the giant fish monster. And there was only Padme next to it who witnessed it, and she then went, Jar Jar got eaten. Okay. No grief. No negative emotion about Jar Jar was just eaten by a monster. He's gone, I guess. And then move on with the story. And that happened, I think, twice in that episode in some form. And when Jar Jar then returned back alive, it was not this relief of, you're alive, good friend and party member. No, it was more like, he's back.
Like, yeah,
okay.
It's like, yay, he's back.
It's his oh shit, he's still here. It's quite hilarious. It's horrible to look at, but it's hilarious that you have this subtle disdain of the showmakers in there. And but no, Clone Wars took forever to get good. I forced myself through those first seasons, and that was only because there's not much available in animated stuff, and I like 3D animated stuff.
I sat through Shinies like every weekend, and we'd watch one of the Clone Wars. This is a good one. I was like, all right, let's sit down and watch.
Oh no!
Like, okay.
And they were handpicked.
Yeah, some of them were good. I'll say they were good. Yeah.
There are some that are good. Yes. Most, I would say it's a 50-50 with Clone Wars.
Yeah, it's an eclectic show for sure. All right.
Ends up with a couple examples, including the Clone Wars and Breaking Bad. When Will saw this, I mean, how do you fail at understanding the point this hard?
How do you fail to understand anything? You haven't seen Breaking Bad, apparently, because that show was good in the first season, and even if it was only decent, normal in the first season, it would still be lengths better than The Acolyte, because The Acolyte was minus 500 on a scale of 1 to 10. That is the difference. And that Andor wasn't immediately considered for another season, although it was amazing for the standards we have. That is the pity. Andor wasn't even advertised for some reason. Maybe because it had a male protagonist. Maybe because it dodged all the race quotas in the show and the gay quotas in the show, because they were woven in well enough so that it wouldn't stick out to you. But in all these other shows, it sticks out to you. Maybe it was because the male characters actually achieved something. Maybe it was because there was just not enough blatant woke messaging in it, because it is practically none. And maybe that's why it wasn't advertised.
Okay. We are at almost 21 minutes. I can't believe we sat through all this. I would have given up a while ago. Maybe I'm drinking more tea these days. I'm just so chilled out. I'm like, let the guy bury his own, dig his own grave. Okay.
Told you. And he's like, there are less expensive shows like Warehouse 13, where the first season is, it's okay, you can continue that easily. Or the first season of Stargate SG-1. Yeah, it was a bit rough, but wasn't bad. The Acolyte was bad.
Acolyte was just, a mess.
It was hostile.
This is
to
one
the
of two
material.
things. He either understands the point being made, but is attempting to misrepresent the point to, again, galvanize an already volatile audience against a contentious product, thereby sending his parrots to harass this account, which actually fucking happened, or he doesn't understand the purpose of an analogy. Stupid people do this all the time. You'll say, well...
Wait. This is not an analogy. You're using apples to apples. You're saying Breaking Bad is akin to the Clone Wars, which is akin to the Acolyte. That's stupid.
Yeah, when Breaking Bad trumps them both first season.
Just wait for what he's about to say.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh no.
I gotta write every time he opens, like, this is another character, every time he opens his mouth is wrong and we have to write it down. Or I have to write it down and like, okay.
I mean, again, what Drinker said in his retweet, it summed up perfectly. Please tell me you're not seriously comparing Acolyte to Breaking Bad. That sums up the whole thing.
Yeah, because it doesn't hold. It's not true that the Acolyte was good enough to justify this, and it is also not true that Breaking Bad was bad in the first season. It's just insane to make any of these claims.
Olympic sprinters run, with the underlying logic being how they locomote, and the stupidest person you know will say, "Did you just compare a fish to an Olympian?" And this is exactly why analogies are on IQ tests.
A stupid person doesn't make that
Will and
sentence.
suggest it's the former, that he knows the point that's being made but is misrepresenting it.
No, he's not misrepresenting anything. He's saying, please tell me you're not seriously comparing the Acolyte to Breaking Bad. He's saying, do you seriously think this way?
The assessment of this Twitter account, Star Wars Holocron, is simply wrong. You can't make an analogy based on a false assessment. Well, you can, but your analogy will be wrong. That's the whole point. That's why Drinker criticizes this.
On top of straight up lying about Breaking Bad Season 1.
Okay. Jeez, I gotta write this all down. It's driving me crazy.
It's like, no, it didn't take its time to really grip us and needed more than one season. The first season set the tone from the jump.
Not just the tone. The whole writing was perfect.
Yeah, it set up everything in the show from the jump.
To fit the narrative he's trying to push. I mean, the alternative is to suggest he's low IQ. And I would never do that.
No. We know there's something biased about your words. And when you think you're smarter than someone else, we have a little giggle inside of our minds. We're not really laughing. We're just like, oh yeah, this is the person we're dealing with. And we're still listening to you because this is the show. So anyway.
Just the fact that Breaking Bad's first season is an exception to the Western writing issues disproves that whole tweet.
This guy is precisely that IQ bell curve meme.
Yeah.
Oh, let's not bring that up, or else we'll have to accuse him of racism.
Because any moron that doesn't know any better would not make the counter argument Drinker made, because because it is so obvious if you actually have seen Breaking Bad Season 1.
Oh, but Smut, if he's white, we can't be racist towards him, so we can say all the mean words.
All right, yeah. I thought he was black. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Why would you assume
Twitter
his
alone is an embarrassment
gender? I mean,
of narrative
race.
pushes, from platform-boosting known anti-black racists like Kang Min Lee to even shit-talking
anti-black racist? What does... So he doesn't like...
Show me that.
Let me rewind that.
That's... okay.
Never do that.
Okay, all Ubisoft had to do was have a Japanese main character for a game that takes place in feudal Japan, but they couldn't help but shoehorn in a DEI black guy and repeatedly market him as real-life samurai based on zero historical evidence. Now, whole nation is pissed off. Low. That is true.
Now imagine how bad it had to have gotten for a Korean guy to defend the Japanese.
And they claimed that it was historically accurate.
Ugh.
Yeah, have a big giant black guy be the secret assassin that keeps on murdering the natives of that island. Yeah, great idea. Nobody will take issue with that.
Yeah, this is
Why not have the same with a white guy going to Africa and killing all the Africans?
Which is actually a hell of a lot more accurate.
Depends on when and where.
Mainly, yeah.
Because
but the general idea still applies, though.
Yeah, well, for example, during the slave trade, nobody went into Africa because he died within an hour.
all right. I hate to do this. I have to keep pausing and writing all the stuff he gets wrong every single time. It's stuff like this. I just want to walk away from the video. It's becoming more work than fun.
Almost there.
Yeah, I know.
Twitter alone is an embarrassment of narrative pushes, from platform-boosting known anti-black racists like Kang Min Lee to even shit-talking PETA.
If you don't shit you are not normal.
Oh no, shit-talking the animal abusers.
Yeah.
What's wrong with making fun of PETA?
Nothing. It's a fact. It's a pastime of my own personally.
Oh, this is a dumb. PETA has some of the stupidest. Look at that. If you wouldn't eat a T-Rex, I totally would.
Yeah.
Don't eat a chicken. I was like, what do you know how healthy chicken is? It's like the healthiest meat you can get. The eggs are amazing, and they make so many of them. Can you imagine we just stopped eating chickens? The whole world would change overnight. America would change.
Can you imagine what kind of omelet you could make from a T-Rex egg?
You'd eat for a month. It would. I mean, I don't know what the hell's in them, but I'm just saying the nutritional profile of an egg is almost perfect for humans. It's basically a multivitamin. You'd have to eat like 4 or 5 a day, but I mean, some people do that already.
You'd oh god, you'd gain so much weight.
No, not really. There's barely any carbohydrates in there. There are some, but very very few.
Yeah, but it's so much energy that it will be stored.
Yes, some of it will be stored, but it depends on whether you're exercising that day and when you eat. But other than that, honestly, guys, if you don't eat eggs every day, I mean, it's one of the healthiest things you could do. So, PETA trying to defend chickens is the dumbest shit and they say a lot of dumb shit, a lot of dumb, unhealthy stuff. Like, oh, would you eat a puppy if blah, blah, blah? It's like, yeah, if I was starving.
Also, just read
Or
the
Chinese.
Just read the text that PETA made. Think twice before ordering the chicken sandwich. T-Rexes wouldn't approve of you eating their descendants. Like I like how.
Wait a second. So you're saying a chicken is descendant of a T-Rex? So technically, I am eating a T-Rex, or I would anyway, if I had the opportunity. That's funny.
It's such a stupidity.
The logic is so dumb. And what would we? The problem is simply, why would the carnivore give a shit about the opinion of its prey? The lions don't ask the gazelles for their opinion.
I don't berate people for being vegetarian or vegan. If you want to do that with you could find a healthy solution to your living condition, you're called life, go for it. I never get in the way of someone's meal ticket. You do you. And for someone like PETA or some group like PETA to say nonsense like, oh, chickens are like T-Rexes, like, what the hell? You just make me want to eat more chickens.
Yeah, and I don't think we should take seriously or care about the feelings of an organization that in its quest for helping animals steals pets and euthanizes them.
Anyway, all these pro whatever groups are just driving me crazy sometimes. It's just like, can you leave people alone? There's nothing wrong with eating chickens. Anyway, in fact, I wish some of my Indian friends would eat more meat because they have like vegetarian Hinduism and there's versions of Hindu. It's like, I love these people, but you got to eat more protein, guys. Anyway.
They have other sources for that.
Perceives them to be left-wing, I guess? I don't know. That last one was just amusing to me. So I bring you back to this tweet. What do you honestly think he's saying here? So far, we've demonstrated he will lie or manipulate a narrative, use a member of a group that he regularly targets as a form of plausible deniability.
No, he's not. What are you talking about? He said he didn't like the character in one scene, and then he likes the thing she's involved with in her life.
The initial impression of the character was negative. I agree with that. And he's running with it as if that never changed. So we aren't allowed to change our opinions. Which also seems to be a thing with narcissists and socialists who seem to be narcissists, is that they will always judge you for that one negative thing that ever happened. And you can never recover from that in the eyes of the narcissist. You will have to make groveling apologia every day for the rest of your life, and it will never be forgiven. Fuck you.
All right, 22 minutes.
Has issues with minority groups, and that he perceives women being in these roles to be a political push. Which of the humans in this image fits all that criteria? What this person does is not honest critique. He looks for...
How is it dishonest? I'm not sure. Even if he had a lens of, or a filter, as he's implying, of whatever, how is he saying is dishonest if he actually believes that? This is the problem I have with these people, because they also have a filter or a lens, and I don't think they're lying to me. I think they actually believe what they say. It just happens to be wrong. then that's fine. And we can criticize you for that. The same way you can criticize Critical Drinker, but just use your brain. Listen to what he's saying. Take a step back and go, why did he say that? It's not because he hates women or whatever. Maybe there's something wrong with the character that Gina Carano is playing. That doesn't seem to... Why is she punching a freaking Mandalorian in the chest when his steel or his metal is impenetrable? That's stupid. You know, there's lots of reasons. Helm. Or his helmet. Yeah, there's lots of reasons why this scene sucks. Think about it. When someone says something is good, that's when you go, wait, why is that positive? Tell me exactly why. This is the problem Epicureans have all the time, because we seek things that are good, and usually it's our preference. So if we have like a certain flavor of tea or a certain hamburger from a certain place, we say, why do you like the Big Mac, sir? As opposed to the Whopper or the Wendy's Baconator or whatever fast food joint. Why is that? And you have to give me detailed flavor profiles of each one and say why this salt, sugar, protein combination works better than the other one. That's what I want to know as a critic. Not say, I like it because it's on sale. It's like, no, that's not. It tastes better when it's $1 off. It's like, okay. Not quite the same as what I'm looking for. But anyway.
Alt-right political talking points under the... And I know his fan base doesn't want to believe that he is prejudiced against minority groups, but after everything you've seen here, if you're an honest person, you're at the very least asking questions. Why?
Yeah, we're asking a lot of questions about you, and I've written about 30 of them down so far. Whew. I have like one or two about the drinker. That's about it, but I don't really care, so I'm not criticizing him.
Would he bring up conversations about race in films where that...
He didn't. He was going, if there is woke elements, he's wondering why all the bad guys are white. And men. That's it. He did not say the black candidate for mayor was bad. So what's the problem?
Isn't... Why would he lie and manipulate footage of a film made by a person that he politically disagrees with?
The film lied to us unless he literally asked someone like the actor to film. Oh, come on. This is getting so stupid. Oh dear. I got to stop.
Why is he spreading misinformation
he quoted someone
about a woman and attributing political positions to her? What does any of this have to do with film?
Okay, now, if you don't understand the motivations of actors and their political agenda and how they get hired and what the producers are looking for and what the casting couch is like and all that jazz, well, okay, you don't want to know that. That's fine. There is a connection. There is a relationship between how all that business works. It's called making a movie. And if you don't want to be part of understanding the casting relationship between the producer and the agency and the director and all that jazz, then great. He obviously knows a little bit more about you. And you either accept that or you don't. That's fine.
This is because he's not a film reviewer. He's a political ideologue.
Okay.
That complains almost exclusively about mainstream media to push rhetoric.
Yeah, it sucks. What's wrong with criticizing popular film or games or whatever as good or bad? I'm not seeing that as an inherently good or bad problem. What if his agenda is good writing or entertaining stories? And he will like God of War Ragnarok because he found some entertainment value in it. I like Kratos. He has big axe thing. It's fun to swing. It's like, okay, great. Good for him. He's missing all the other content that a lot of us disagree with. But if that's his take, again, good for him. We have issues with things he missed or things he doesn't care to talk about, or maybe he's not paying attention to those things. That's fine.
You'll never see him talking about or promoting unless it's an attempt at a narrative put exclusively about mainstream media In fact, you'll never see him talking about or promoting anything that's not mainstream unless it's an attempt at a narrative push. So yeah, he'll talk about Squid Game or Kingdom because they're mainstream, but do any of you believe he cares about Korean media at all? You know, because Korean women are probably some of the most feminist on earth, to the point that it heavily contributes to their birth rate.
Why should he care about this? You just said, well, he criticizes popular stuff. Would he ever care about indie movies? It's like, I guess not. Is that maybe he found his niche. Maybe he's appealing to his demographic. Isn't that what you're doing with your videos? Isn't that what anyone does on YouTube when they make a YouTube channel? If I start talking about economics and the Federal Reserve, you guys are like, what the hell? Spud, what are you talking about? I would make another channel and talk about it there. What is the problem here?
Klein, swath of strong female protagonists that permeate Korean media properties? He has no idea, because he can only regurgitate talking points against what's in the mainstream, because you can't grift on things people don't know about. This is why his review for season 4 of The Boys is what it is. He admits he hasn't even watched it, yet claims it has destroyed its audience, his source being the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
So, it was off to Rotten Tomatoes for me to check out the reviews. Not the critic reviews, of course, because nobody in their right mind gives a shit what those fucking shills have got to say about anything anymore. I'm talking about the audience reviews, which is the only semi-reliable barometer for quality these days, and oh.
Besides the fact that TV show reviews on Rotten Tomatoes aren't verified, meaning they are subject to review bombs, why doesn't he keep this same energy with, I don't know, the Marvels?
So, the big problem here is that Birdman is now comparing scores for movies and TV series. There is a big difference, because first, seasons of The Boys were largely well liked, and you can see the considerable drop. So we can see a trend. That is not something we can see with a movie. That is again a massive problem of just showing stuff and making a false equivalency.
Or Quantumania, movies that have pretty good audience scores. Seems like Drinker is the living embodiment of this meme, doesn't it? Of course, he'll never come out and say, I don't want to see black people in lead roles, or I'm tired of female protagonists, like The Quartering stupidly did. It's because being that he's selling something, he has something to lose, so he has to communicate in dog whistles to maintain the facade of plausible deniability.
I'm not following. He has a character that has a certain series of ideas that he can't change? How so? I'm not following this logic. What exactly is the facade? Is it the drunken, mumbling, right-wing leaning, gun-toting American or something like that, even though he's British? But along those lines? And how is that plausible? What is he denying himself? Or what is he denying to his audience? That he falls back on it all the time and that's his shtick? If that's the case, again, what is wrong with having a shtick or a character he's performing as, if that's the case? Or if he's just sharing his honest thoughts in a character version of that concept of being a drunken mumbling guy. How is that bad? All you need to do is listen to what he's saying and try and understand what that means. And in your case, you have twisted it into something else because you think he's right-wing leaning and he hates women and blah, blah, blah. When the seasons of a TV show matter, when the characters change as the episodes go by and those series matter, and you couldn't even make the distinction between Gina Carano's character in her first episode and her as a person in her fight for free speech. Those are two different things. So I don't know what he's trying to deny here, or what you think he's trying to deny here to his audience.
And Will, I know you're watching, so...
Sure.
You think he'd watch a sack of shit like you?
Well, if he got this way through the video, I mean, that's impressive. Drinker must be really have nothing better to do with his time. I wanted to stop at the 5-6 minute mark with this guy. But again, I'm having a chill evening, so. I know you're watching, buddy. I just made an attack video on you. Ha ha ha.
Let me you directly. Film reviews are not your personal soapbox to air out your grievances with minority groups.
Why not? Even if that is true, why not? I've heard it all the time from people like you and Pillar of Garbage and all these weirdos who have an agenda, and we know exactly what that is. And you use that as your means of sharing this. Well, we should be nice to plants and animals and be vegetarian, and women should have the same rights as men, even though they already do, and all this other crap. I mean, how much more political mumbo-jumbo do you have to jump through? Which is his agenda, and what is he trying to push? Please tell me. And show me exactly where that happens. Because every time he opens his mouth, he's either cracking a joke, he's lampooning something, or he's making a snide remark. He's like, look at all these white guys in this movie, blah, blah, blah. People think is racist, which he did with the Batman. It's not his actual opinion. He's making a joke. He's trying to entertain people, is what I'm saying. And there's 2 points of any media. It's to entertain and to teach. And maybe he's teaching you what he thinks. But in no way do I see him as an ideologue or any kind of intellectual or pushing an agenda or this or that. He has that buzzword he used when he started called The Message. That was his thing. I haven't heard it in years. Maybe he still does use it. But maybe he's like, maybe if he reviewed The Acolyte, he might use that buzzword. I don't know. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with showcasing what the message or the theme or the signal is in a certain episode or an entire movie. That's okay. I don't consider that any political spectrum. You're just pointing out the obvious, or maybe the hard to point out. Maybe. So no, I don't see Drinker as this intellectual. Nor is he coming across as one in his normal conversations with people. It's purely a persona, and he's just trying to have fun with whatever he watched, to have some entertainment value with it, and make a living off YouTube. So good for him.
For them, it's irresponsible audience that consumes film and teaches them nothing about the art form. You create a hostile environment for neutral people that may stumble across your slop, or they may...
All right, I think we can stop there. He obviously does not like him, and he expects Drinker to be teaching people about film. I don't see why that's necessary. Drinker can say whatever he likes, and he has been, because people like him, and they keep watching him. And he's like, well, he must now teach you about cinematography and lighting and how special effects are made. It's like, no, he doesn't have to do any of that. So, no, sir, you're wrong. And I think we're done. No one else is talking, so I'm just going to go straight to street memes because, God forbid, we listen to the last 40 seconds of this nonsense. I do call it nonsense, not because you don't have any thought in your brains. It's all the same crap. And we've heard it all before. You don't like the guy. We get it. So stop watching him. Stop criticizing him. You're not doing you're not doing anyone any favors. You're just appealing to your base, which is what you're accusing the Drinker of. So either you stop doing it, or you both stop doing it. But that won't happen. So
anyway, meme starting with Cyberfrog.
Okay. Trying to turn it on. Where is it? Oh, wrong one. The wrong window is open. There it is. Okay.
What?
My response to the Birdman.
Okay.
The Birdman?
Birdman.
Okay. I think you just need to stop being such a faggot.
Yeah.
You ite gay mega gay. There is a certain preponderance on this topic of why criticize a person over and over and over again. In my case, when I was criticizing Pillar of Garbage, is every time he made a new video about me. That's fair is fair. I got bored of that. and he stopped replying, so I stopped replying.
We only recovered him directly twice.
Oh yeah, but I did like 3 response videos to when he made responses to us. So
yeah, the response videos from you were great. The actual ones.
Oh, it was so. You know, it was fun and then like halfway through, I just got tired. You know. You said I can't take this seriously anymore. It can't be fun anymore.
Oh, guess who Birdman blocked?
Aiden Palin.
Yeah.
You know, that's not unexpected. Aiden's a smart chickadee. Good on you.
This dude felt real comfortable outright lying about Critical Drinker, contorting his words and himself into pretzels to frame Drinker as a racist, but apparently he can't take any real criticism back.
Yeah.
Lol. LMAO even. Yes.
Butthurt over the aristocratic utensils, aka spoon, calling him out on his lying ass.
Oh, someone responded to him.
What time is it in South Africa? Exposing the grift of very hateful spork? Okay.
Is it about Toy Story 4, I guess?
I don't know. When someone says something so dark side phobic, so you have to hit them with the youngling stare. Okay.
Okay.
I boiled them all, and not just boiled them, mashed them and stuck them in a stew too. Every single. Oh, jeez.
Okay.
That's a weird combination. Chris Hemsworth once said Theodore is clearly getting the best head over Alvin and Simon.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
I do know, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Here we go again. I think I'm done watching Critical Drinkers work. Yeah. When was that? September 21st. Yeah. 2021. Yeah, right. You're still talking about him, buddy. I'm all for ribbing the SJWs, but he's really
liar.
But he's ventured way too far into anti-everything that's not white, straight, and male. Can't follow you down that hole, bro. Good.
If he's for ripping the SJWs, then why is he doing streams with them?
Discord ringing up the Smudcast, finding the most retarded video you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that retarded. I think it's so biased and it's so insular that you're wondering, does this guy have friends? But I think
we've seen worse, but yeah, it is up there.
I think of people
well,
like
commies, apparently.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We think of these people. Do they talk to other people? Do they go outside and just talk to their neighbors who obviously disagree with them on life, politics, where to go shopping, etc., and go, huh, I never thought of life like that. Maybe we should be taxed less, and that would change the safety net that we have for people who are older or younger or on hard times. And how would that work politically? And how would that work economically? And why would that happen the way it does? Yada, yada, back in my time, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. Revy and, I don't know about American Psycho. That's still that's a little too much. Sure, yeah, okay.
Replying to the I'm done watching him.
Yeah. I think this person's acting as bad, but she is a good person. Thank you. That's what
it is.
You are a hypocrite. You have to love everything or hate everything about a person. Nuance is evil. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened there.
How about I take your dunce cap and smack you in the back of the head with it? And then send you back to the corner where you belong.
You see, if I use your real name, my criticism is look good. Yeah, that's another thing I don't understand.
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Oh boy. The Birdman when no one is looking. No, don't go, Dick. I love Dick. I love
Dick as in Nightwing.
Is that how she said? Oh, jeez. Oh. Har. J.K. Rowling when neurotic weirdos use her full name. Yeah.
I don't even know it. I feel like I don't want to know at this point.
Yeah. You went full retard, man? Not quite. We've seen worse.
Birdman praising the dude who doxed himself over a latte joke.
The thing I don't like is when he started saying, I believe in math and this and that. It's like, oh, really?
Nobody said there'd be math.
And logic and like, oh, and history. Like, oh, really? See, when I say I love logic, I will accept other people's logic and then I determine whether it's good or bad or right or wrong or this or that. It's not like, I like every logic. It's like, no. Will you teach me, Mr. Miyagi? No, I don't believe in karate anymore. Leave me alone. I just want to die.
Written and directed by Ruin Johnson.
Yeah, that's definitely one
this motherfucker.
Way to describe him. Malcolm, it's time to cook. Whoa, what is that in the background? Oh, dear. Jar Jar is responsible for both the rise of the Empire and the creation of the most prolific slur in Star Wars. Here's in it for the love of the hate. Okay.
There'll be some Bombat Clankins coming this way.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Bombat Clankins?
Mm-hmm. Right there.
Where?
There. No.
Wait.
Over there.
I can't.
There.
Oh, you're right.
Here's hoping the clip doesn't get the Smudcast taken down.
What was that about? All right. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many, 16% average audience scores. We can't even count to 3.
No, that's Valve.
Could it be we beginning to hold grifters? I did this word. I want them.
It's all projection. That is what enrages me.
All right, so okay,
These people are lying so hard constantly. They can't stop. They can't say a single line without lying about other people, and they call others the liars.
Yeah, wait, so Endymion said the amount of dummies saying I'm lying about my Ubisoft stuff is good for me. He's not lying. They're actually demanding I tell them my sources, which he does, usually. Birdman's response, could it be? Are we beginning to hold grifters accountable for the lies they tell? What is this asking for evidence stuff? I've never heard of it.
What,
must be something that stands for TikTok.
So revealing sources is now holding grifters accountable?
Yeah, guys, you don't usually do that, especially when you're protecting your sources for obvious reasons, or else they won't believe in you anymore because you promised not to reveal them. So
we're dealing with a communist, so of course he wants people who don't agree with the communism to be doxxed,
right.
So that he can send them to the gulag.
Me and the boys.
Like common sense tells you to only reveal sources for what you're saying when applicable. Like with articles, that's sensible. That's normal. But if it's an insider or something, it's like you don't want to take that risk for yourself or for them.
Yeah, and those shitty leftist articles, they're always claiming what some people said, our sources said, and they have none. They have none.
Humanity and animals both hate PETA. I can live with that. Ribs, but not without that delicious bacon. Guys, have you ever eaten ribs? I mean,
last week.
Bacon is good, but ribs are, oh my God.
I'd say they're neck and neck.
Yeah, I mean, how do you compare them? They're in different worlds.
I can't recommend neck. Neck is stringy.
Oh, plenty of Italians use the neck of the pig. So.
Well, no, I mean that they're.
You can use it. You can use every part. That's not the issue. But ribs, man.
Yeah.
Well, I meant that they're pretty much on par in terms of how good they are.
Yeah, see, it's hard to compare the two. They're very good at different things. And
they're about even.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's hard. It's really hard. Anyway, yeah. PETA came to Nebraska and bought a bunch of our live lobsters and freed them into the Missouri River. The Missouri River is freshwater. Lobsters are saltwater. Yeah, they died. Wow, is that true?
Yes.
They constantly do things like this. They're absolute idiots.
Wow.
And the filthy Frank thing. Can I get you some tap water?
Is there a dinosaur month? Did you know that October is National Dinosaur Month? Nothing fancies both kids and adults quite like dinosaurs. Sir, there's been a second dinosaur month. What?
What?
Is there two? I don't know.
Okay.
T-Rex meat cuts.
People, what the hell?
The woodwork is the same as an alligator.
No, I'm just surprised that someone actually made this.
Will, I know you were.
Are you really?
Yes,
really?
Actually. Yes.
This was the special part of the video where it's like, I am so cool. I know people love me, and I know the guy I'm criticizing is actually watching me. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Sure you do.
Sure. Yeah. Will, I know you're watching this. The room's empty.
All right. We got some more super chats. Guys, come on, let's go home. Where are we? All right, they're both one's from Frog Jupiter. Okay, Frog Jupiter, thank you, sir, again. Birdman, I'm a centrist and only believe in science. TM, me who knows
Trademarked.
racial IQ stats. Oh, yeah, that was sad. So you agree that not acceptable on YouTube?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, don't. We saw those stats. I'm like, where are you going with this? What do you want? You want the movie to reflect the numbers that the randos in the Batman film are 80% black and 20% white. So you're gonna get like the two, like I don't know, 5 guys and 4 of them are black.
See
and
Batman beat up black man.
I don't know. What a weird stretch. One more time for the Threadnought. Season 1, season that doesn't exist, many seasons.
Confusion.
Yeah, which shows, sir? There's lots of them. Sequest is one, which is kind of cool, kind of weird. Star Trek is one. TNG and DS9 and Voyager as well. All the first seasons of all the sci-fi shows are pretty wacky.
Enterprise?
Yeah, Enterprise was more consistent, believe it or not, but yeah, some of that was a little weird. But yeah,
the first season of Enterprise wasn't as much on the low as the other series. You said, it was more
experimental.
Yeah, they got all, like, they knew what they were doing from the start. They knew the technology level, they knew the actors, and they were and they didn't screw up any of the relationships. It was all well thought out. Maybe the episodes were a bit wonky here and there.
Yeah, the thing is, there's a difference between being experimental in your first season and just being plain bad.
Yeah, a lot of people did not like Enterprise as much as I thought they would, but
it's like no matter what the consensus was on what I'm about to mention, I'll still give them credit for following up on the specific detail from First Contact. The Borg technology got left behind.
Yeah, there was a lot of good references that you had to know the lore of how it connected, and time travel usually screws stuff up. They actually handled it reasonably okay.
Like the one episode where
what Enterprise are we talking about?
The show.
Star Trek. The show.
Which one?
The Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah.
From the 2000s.
Scott Bakula?
Yeah.
You mean NX-01?
Yeah.
Yes. That one.
Okay.
The prequel.
Just say the ship's designation, and we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, NX-01. Yeah, that is the one.
Okay.
All right.
I thought we were talking about TNG.
Oh, I forgot about that stupid joke he made about the shape of the red splotches as opposed to the blue splotches and the white splotches.
the one blue splotch.
Yeah. Weird. Anyway, that person was biased up the wazoo. Holy, I believe in science and math. Sure.
Pathological liar, just like Destiny.
I'm objective. Like, yeah, no, you're not. Anyway, bacon wrapped ribs. No, that would be stupid. Don't do that. You do not combine two amazing things. You think it would work, but I've tried these things. Don't do that.
Smart. At the schnitzel place last week. They had an all-you-can-eat schnitzel day.
Ooh, Jesus.
And there's barely anyone who ever orders a second.
Yeah, why would you? I mean,
you could, but nobody gets that far. But the schnitzel I had pulled pork on it.
Oh no!
And then was baked over with cheese.
Oh my God! Oh, my brain.
It was great.
Yeah, but my brain.
It was the best of German and American cuisine put together, and it works.
Oh, really?
It works.
Okay.
It just works.
I hope to God.
Unlike Bethesda.
I hope to God it does, because that sounds horrible.
It was beautiful. It was like eating a cloud.
I'm reminded of the George Costanza scream. Worlds collide, Jerry. Pandemonium. Anyway.
No, it was great.
All right. Well, that was almost.
You want to eat that?
I have enough schnitzel in my life, sir. I know where I'm going to my Serbian brothers and how they do schnitzel. You got to check those guys out. Nothing wrong with the Germans. Great schnitzel. Fantastic schnitzel. Serbians are so far the top tier that I've experienced. But maybe I've got to try more beer halls. Maybe I got to try more Oktoberfest
maybe
celebrations.
You should come to Germany and eat a German schnitzel in Germany and not from Serbians.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I know. Anyway,
have a genuine experience.
Anyway, yeah. Thanks, guys, for sticking around. I'm so relaxed right now. I'm still going to get some tea because it's late, and I usually have tea later on. But thank you so much for sitting around with this very angry fellow. You didn't catch all the swearing and calling it slop, and he's lying and all these other butt words. Like, dude, just criticize him.
These people are usually very spiteful. Very sadistic and spiteful.
For someone so into science and math and logic, you think he'd be like more objective and clear-headed and,
No.
thoughtful.
Those are all just claims,
Yeah.
pretenses.
An inference, perhaps, like the Critical Drinker was doing in certain cases.
It was a tell-don't show right before he started showing.
Yeah.
And showing the opposite.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. That was fun. I'm going to go get a tea and contemplate Canadian Thanksgiving next week because we got a lot to plan. Family's great. Anyway, have yourself a good one. Good night.
You too.
Good night.